I'm Sam. This is S03E02. Sorry for the recording.
Yo, now I'm just gonna have to cut in like. Yo, hey, welcome.
Yeah, well, welcome. This is S03E02. That's Alex, whose voice you just heard.
You know me.
You've been here for Hyde. Say yours. What? Woody woo. This is Seema. Say hi, Seema.
Hootie hoo.
Perfect. That was way better than mine.
Yeah, this is Eddie here first
Thank
time.
you, Eddie.
Yo.
Awesome. So let's talk about Chris Brown is a bit crazy, and then we talk about Future.
He's very crazy.
Yeah, well, basically,
Right.
long story short, a woman lied that he raped her, and then she also lied that he physically threatened her. It turned out she was lying, obviously, and then he's beat the charge already. In like the space of like 2 days or something.
Yeah, he turned around quick.
Yeah, but to be honest, if it was true, like, it's possible. I mean, like, he's got like what 6-7 restraining orders on him.
It wouldn't
from,
surprise me.
Yeah, he's a creep,
If
but you
that
shouldn't
happened.
like falsely accuse him of rape.
Yeah, but then like,
Accuse him of what he
On
really
the flip
did.
side, that's
but the
horrible.
thing is, like,
That is.
it is horrible. Like, unfortunately, I'm not one to like, appreciate people who take such a sensitive topic and lie about it, especially in like a place
agree.
where like only about 10% of court cases actually see like a courtroom and then they actually go to jail. So, but at the same
10%?
time, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
What happens to the other 90?
Terrible statistic.
Nothing.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's a terrible
Did you see my shock?
statistic.
I almost did a spit take. Yeah, wait, 10%? Jesus,
Yeah,
what happens to the 90?
I mean, like, so let's say there's like 100 rape cases, right?
Please
so,
talk
like,
to the mic. This is some knowledge you're spitting.
All right, so there's like 100 rape cases, right? And about 2 to 8% of those rape cases are false. And the reason why they're called false is because sometimes the woman is forced to like come out of her anonymity. What's that word?
Anonymity.
Yeah, that. And because she's forced to do that, she doesn't want to continue the case anymore. And so in that, they claim it as a false accusation.
Also.
Yeah, and
Well, not awesome. I'm also sarcastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, wow, niggas is really.
Yeah. And
That
so
is-
like,
Sorry,
and then,
please finish.
Yeah, and then out of those 2 to 8%, like that happens, and then like 20% of rape cases get reported. Like, so like these are calculated from women who like come forward and say I've been raped but have never gone to the police before. And so like about 20% of them have gone to the police, and about 10% of them have gone and like gotten a court case, and about like 5, 6, 7% has gone to jail.
Wow.
Total.
That is
That's
tragic.
terrible.
Horrible. Well, yeah, screw Chris Brown. But hopefully, like, don't accuse him of rape falsely. You're not
Well,
helping.
He actually
Yeah.
goes to jail because like
No,
it's time.
Yeah. Well, in a roundabout,
No, free
like,
CB, man.
Yes.
He's a changed man. Honestly,
boy.
I feel like
Didn't he choke a
bro.
girl last year in a photograph?
my man.
that. Listen,
You want to defend
it's
him?
propaganda. No, please.
propaganda.
No, let's get that
Don't get me wrong.
straight.
Don't get me wrong.
Fahad
Yeah,
is not
I'm.
defending that,
Oh
but
yeah.
no,
I'm
I
so
hope.
for like. I'm so anti these people, right? I feel things like this like is really, really fucked up, right? However, I just feel that I'm not defending what he did in the past.
but some girls are asking to be choked out here.
I mean, there's that. That's completely separate to what I was gonna say, but that is true.
In a
That
certain
is true.
context.
Zero cap. But
It's feminist ways to choke a woman.
what I was gonna say is that I don't know. I feel like he should be given a second chance. You know?
My man. Has it deserved that second chance, bro? I don't think there's a point where Chris
He
Brown
hasn't
has
done
for a
that.
long
He's
term.
got very many
Nigga, screw
chances,
this.
bro. He's
Listen.
got restraining orders from Carisha.
Yeah, I feel like there's not been a long stretch of time where Chris Brown isn't doing something.
Look at how bad Karuchi
How many
is.
chances does he
Do you
get?
blame him?
For doing what?
She's beautiful.
So he's
Like I
stalk
see
her?
why he was so obsessed. I understand it. I understand it. I understand that. I'm
He's
joking.
trolling. He's trolling. Come on. I just had to get that out there.
I joke a lot.
trolling.
I joke a lot.
Yeah.
But no.
You're hilarious.
We're very anti-abusers here, but
Yo, tell us about R. Kelly.
oh
Again.
god,
Again.
Oh, God.
I'm joking.
yeah, please.
Yeah. Let's talk about Future. Segue.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's talk about that feature.
Future doesn't have an allegation against him, does he? It's just his own music that's.
Nah, not
No,
as far as I
yeah.
know.
No, I don't think
There's a
Future's
whole
out
thing
here doing
between
shit.
him and Ciara, but that's like about their kid, innit?
Yeah, no, he just cheated. That's fine. I'm kidding. But
And
that's
that is
not
fine.
like.
That's their relationship. What-
Exactly. That's
What do
not
we
like
have to do with that?
crime. He didn't commit crimes.
Yeah, he's just an asshole. Like,
C'est la vie. Such is life sometimes. No judgment, man. No shame, no blame. Let's talk about Future. Future Hendrix. Yuck. I hate that name. Has released a new album called The Wizard. Gizzard.
Well, why is it called that? Does anyone know?
Why would I thought you would know this? I was
You know
gonna
what, I
ask
actually
you
don't
this
know.
question.
I actually don't know.
What does that mean?
Genius.
What does it call
Yeah,
himself?
Rap Genius.
Future
Rap
Hendrix.
Genius. I don't know.
I don't know about Future Hendrix, but Wizard is probably like. I mean, like for a long time, there's always been like words without vowels in them.
Right.
Like if you look,
Scissor.
like yeah, just everywhere you go, you know, it's the new thing. So maybe he was like, "Ooh, let me get on this hype." Like
Wizard.
Wizard.
When I saw that,
Maybe it's a part of mumble rap.
I don't know. When I saw that, I don't know, but for some reason, Kid Cudi popped into my head. Cause you know how he was affiliated with that rock band called Wizard,
Yeah.
and like they're spelled the same way.
Well, that's the reason you said for some reason, like you didn't trace your train of thought.
And I don't think it's related. But I don't know. I just found it weird. He named it that. I wanted to know why.
If we can find that out, that would be great. But until then, let's talk
Yeah.
about how we feel about this album and where's Future. Okay,
Yeah.
I should probably do like an intro in Future, a small intro. Yeah, Future is the granddaddy of trap. Well, not the granddaddy, maybe the
toxic,
uncle.
the
Sorry,
toxic
no, that's
masculinity, like number one
Is he
face.
really? More
Yeah.
than
Oh
Gucci?
yeah, definitely. He's like
Okay.
the
We'll
king
talk
of
about
toxic
that. We'll
masculinity.
talk about that before we do the toxic masculinity.
very
Let's ease into that. Jesus, let's like
Also,
slow
Rap
down.
Genius has nothing on why it's like
That's
that.
a shame.
Well, so when Rap Jesus is confused, you know it's bad. Future is the daddy of what a lot of trap sounds that sounds today. Like before this, in preparation for this whole conversation, I listened to Dirty Sprite 2 again. Some bangers on it, some progressive ass tracks. Like any song in Dirty Sprite, not any song. Actually, some of them are not that great. But a lot of songs in Dirty Sprite 2 could be released tomorrow seamlessly. That shows you how influential Future was. And even to the point where in Dirty Sprite 2, I thought I was hearing Young Thug all through it, but I didn't. It was just Future. And I realized, holy shit, a lot of Young Thug's ad-lib style is from Future. A lot of the those loud ass things he does now, like currently. A lot of his stuff is his own stuff. But if you listen to Dirty Sprite 2 again, you will hear some points where there's some ad-libs where you think Young Thug is on the track. At least to me.
When did Dirty Sprite 2 come out again?
2014.
14.
15. So since then, yeah, he's had a phenomenal run, really. His work ethic is almost too much, but we'll discuss about that too. But he's released with What a Time to Be Alive, collaborative album with Drake, big thing for the trap community. I think, if not for What a Time
I still remember where I was when I heard that for the first time.
Wow,
Same,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of memories attached with that. Yeah, What a Time to Be Alive is trap history. Then what did he release last year? He released Hendrix. That's when he started calling himself Hendrix.
Future self-titled.
And then the Future self-titled.
Yeah.
And a bunch
Great
of
album.
stuff in between. Huh?
That was a great album, by
I
the way.
disagree, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
That's
man.
fine.
There's
That's
some
fine.
slaps, bro.
That's fine. That's
Fair
fine.
to the sweet.
Fez to the Sweep is a great song.
Why are you always destroying the desk, man?
I know, right?
My bad.
Fez to the Sweep is a great song. It's not reflective of the album, bro. Let's be honest. Fez to the Sweep is the best song on that album.
High demand.
We'll talk about.
We'll get into it.
Future.
We'll get into it.
And then what else did I miss? He did a collaborative with what's his name, Juice WRLD. So.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
And that's when I think you realized. Can I bet that's when you realized that I was right about the
emo rap thing?
Yeah. Oh,
Already,
that helped.
already.
Oh, that's it's bro. For Juice WRLD to have a thing, his future is bigger than people realize, and that
yeah,
thing was
that's
bigger than
crazy.
people realize because it wasn't big enough to like break out of the sphere, but the sphere that it did break into was pretty huge.
Yeah.
So like you wouldn't have heard about it that much, but the album was ridiculous. Like I'm sure it sold a ridiculous amount of copies.
Probably.
Over 100k first week for sure.
I can imagine.
100%.
So yeah, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I was right, and I'm so happy, but I'm also sad now. So no one's happy.
But it's got to be consistent for a year. We have to talk about it at the end of the year. To
Yeah.
See.
We'll talk about.
Yo, I actually
Trend.
want to have the original audio, and we can listen to our opinions before, and then we can talk about it afterwards.
But we didn't record the
That would be
original audio. Of us saying that. Of which
Did we
original
not?
audio?
I don't know now.
We only started recording like last week. We only recorded one episode.
Man, there should be a video camera.
Yeah,
there.
we
did.
His
Right?
face was priceless.
Yo, I'm fucking photographer. Yeah.
We only recorded last week. It's unfortunate, but I have people that listen. All I know is I know I did. That's fine. I don't
Okay.
need. I don't
No,
want
I can
compensation.
confirm
I
that.
don't want.
I remember
yeah.
he did.
We can just
Yeah,
go from now.
and I've been saying it since 2016. I have niggas that can say it, so I'm okay. I'm chilling. So as long as I know in my heart. Anyway, talking about Future, let's talk about the new album. What are your thoughts, Fahad and Seema?
I have one thought.
Please.
I've been avoiding like new music, but because I came on this radio show, I guess I had to listen to
Thank
Future's
you.
album. And the reason why, and like listening to it reminded me why I don't really listen to new music nowadays. Not to offend, like I think he's good, but
Offend who you need to offend.
No,
Be
like
100%
okay.
honest.
Yeah.
What?
Offend
Be
who you need to
100%
offend.
honest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, not every single song on that album is good. That's true. Not every single song is a banger. And I feel like he rushed through it. Like he was like, all right, one song done, put it out. One song done, put it out. One song done, put it out, without really like revising it or going through it. And he made, like you said, the album was hella long. I was like, all these songs are actually unnecessary.
The
If
album
he
is 20 tracks long.
Do you know what the
Exactly.
runtime is?
Huh?
Do you know what the runtime is?
Too long.
It's like an
is what
hour.
the long time is.
It's
more
like an
than
hour,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Huh?
hour 2 minutes.
Hour,
Hour,
yeah.
2 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, I feel
Like,
like you can tell
he-
purely from the length of the album that it's gonna be trash. It's just
yeah,
something.
it's not that it's trash. I don't want to go ahead and say it's trash
That's
because
not
I'm trying.
true.
No, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to
No.
do this new way of living in 2019.
Yeah, go
like
for it.
all music is good music. I just
Okay.
have to learn to appreciate it differently. Like
Word.
yeah, so I'm not gonna say this album is awful. It's just that if he worked harder on it, it would have been way. If he put in like 10% more effort, it would have been way better. And none of those songs
I
like
think
would have
Future
been
worked
there.
incredibly hard on this album. I'm gonna be real.
He worked hard, but not thoroughly.
Really? I think this
I
is
feel like-
one of the hardest working albums I've heard Future.
You don't
He
think
comes
it-
to play on this album. Like, I don't think it's... Should I get my thoughts out first? Let me have people talk. Sorry, finish. But I think if we're talking about this nigga actually sounds like he took his time, was off the lean, he took his time and actually sounded into the mic. You can hear all of Future's syllables, and that sounds like an insult, but it's not. Like, it's not normally Future aesthetic. Like, you can hear him actually like enunciating his
That
pronouns
sounds like
this.
he put a
and
lot
it's
of effort
like-
for Future.
He did.
For Future.
For Future, but he did.
But I mean, like, you have to look at it as an artist.
The
like,
problem is all the effort he put across is over 20 tracks. Very few people are dope over 20. Anyway, please say your opinions before I jump in.
I don't
I just
know.
want to ask what you don't think it sounds like anything he's made before.
Say that again. I
don't-
think it sounds like no. It has the Future. You know, it has the same like trap hi hats. You know, some infectious flows, nice hooks. Sometimes I think sometimes he even ignores a hook. Sometimes he doesn't bother in this album. The hook is just him like I think sound effects. There's even one way he's like laughing to himself in his own bar that made me cringe a lot. I don't know what that song is. There's one song I really, really, really like, and I wish the whole album was that, and it's the song with Young Thug and Gunna. Although there's one thing with that song that I do not appreciate. They should stop putting Gunna and Young Thug on the same track, because there's no point of Gunna once Young Thug is on the track. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy. Gunna is a good musician when he's on his own. Immediately you put him with someone that can every single time Young Thug has outshined him. Every time.
I have
Go
one
for
question.
it. Please.
What about okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Every name is
Yeah.
spinning.
You don't think Gunna body that?
Bro, I'm gonna be real. Lil Baby bodies everybody on that song, in my opinion.
Lil Baby.
Lil Baby bodies everybody on that
Oh,
song.
okay.
And I don't like Lil Baby. And like Baby bodies everybody on that song. And then Young Thug also, like, listen, Young Thug has like the smartest part on that song.
I don't think Lil Baby's on that one.
Yes, he is. Lil Baby's on.
He is?
Yeah. Lil Baby,
Really?
Young Thug, and yeah.
Maybe my version doesn't have it.
The thing is, Lil Baby sounds so much like Young Thug that you don't
Really?
realize. But some of the things Lil Baby saying in that song is pretty.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know.
I know.
Oh, okay, it's a dope song, and it's, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Gunna isn't talented, but I don't think there's a point of Gunna once Young Thug's on the song. I'm gonna be very, very realistic. I'm gonna be real.
I
'Cause
feel
it
like
just
they're
sounds-
similar, but they're different.
No, it's not that they're similar. It's like I don't care about his stuff anymore. The song just becomes too long. Once I've heard of Young Thug, especially when Young Thug comes first on the track, Jesus Christ. On Chanel Go Get It, there was a point where I was just like, I wish this was just a Young Thug song. Because although Gunna's verse is fun, if Young Thug had that track to himself, it would be phenomenal. And I'm just here like, I don't care that much about Gunna once I hear a Young Thug on it. I wish they would stop featuring each other, to be honest. Because it just outshines. It's like there's this SZA song, right? On this is a weird comparison, but it's SZA song on Z called it's not Child's Play, it's the one Kendrick Lamar's on.
Yeah.
The version without Kendrick Lamar, SZA sounds better on that song because once Kendrick's verse comes on that song, you forget SZA's on it. SZA just becomes like a Jenny Aiko. Like she loses a lot of her personality. I love Jenny Aiko, she's sexy as hell, but like let's be honest, she becomes a Jenny Aiko. And I'm just like, I don't care about your verse your thing anymore. Kendrick has bodied you. Kendrick bodies the singer. That's how I feel about Young Thug.
That's how I feel about Shook Ones Part 2 when Havoc goes after Prodigy. It's like no one really cares.
Like,
no one really cares what you have to say now.
you know what I mean? So if you're gonna do it, put Gunna first at least. That's my thing.
I
Like,
feel you.
I've
yeah.
got an edit of Bad and Bougie, and where Lil Uzi's verse starts, the track just ends.
You don't like it, man?
Lil Uzi's verse on that song is fire.
Yeah,
That's my son, bro.
yeah.
What, you have something to say about my son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yo, did he delete his
Album.
No, I'm playing. I
No,
don't know
those.
him like that.
So yeah, should we go back and talk about Future?
Yeah.
There's not a lot to say on this album.
Yeah,
To me, it's mediocre as hell.
a whole hour and nothing to say?
Except for the Young Thug song.
Put
I have
that-
quite a
put
lot
that
to
on
say
the
on
cover.
that.
There's some
Oh,
slaps.
I have nothing to say. Damn, that should be the title of this episode.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding. No, as in like we'll talk. I mean, referring to the Future album, not the actual episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. What do you have to say about the Future album?
So yeah, it's 20 tracks long, an
I know,
hour.
right? I know, right?
The
That's how I
scripted
felt
word's
too.
nice.
I know, right?
So
Deep breaths, bro.
this, I've been on this show for a couple weeks now,
And each time he's hated hip hop
and
even more.
my biggest issue with the state of hip hop right now is how what's the word?
Hi-hat.
How monotonous it is. Like everything is the same,
Yeah.
right?
Jakey, fuck them niggas
So-
up. Fuck them niggas up.
Like that being said,
That's the
I
whole
do
album.
believe like the album isn't bad, right? So okay, I looked at it because the way I was looking at it when I first listened to it is like, okay, this sounds like everything he's put out in the last 4 years, right? Then I said, okay, you know what? Let me try and change my perspective and try and look at it as objectively as possible, right? Forget about all that. Just think about, is this a good album or not? And I think it's a good album. It's just that
Why?
I honestly
Why do you think
feel
it's a good album? What parts of it is like,
So-
wow, this is really like this.
the thing is like
it's well made, it's produced well. Everybody,
that's what I mean.
it's
Like
clean.
it's the production astounding as always. It's like with every
Yeah.
Future album, like you know what you expect.
The
You know
production
you're
is
getting
pretty
some
sick.
fantastically pristine beats,
That's
right?
true.
You know you're getting some really obnoxious, ignorant
Just
lyrics.
ignorant.
I love that.
I want
I
to
love
hear
it.
what you. I'm so glad you came on because I want to hear what you think about Future lyrics. I know, right? No, but like,
You're getting
The
that.
thing is, I've become so into like 90s music and stuff that like anytime I hear like The Far Side, A Tribe Called Quest, like dang, I've all of a sudden forgotten all my 90s music. Like Public
Sounds
Enemy,
mischief.
like you know,
you like
all-
Public Enemy?
I love Public Enemy, man.
You like De La Soul?
I love De La Soul, but like all of
Did you listen to
every
the
single
2016 album? Sorry, just to quickly interject. The De La Soul 2016 album. It had Estelle on it, and that song is amazing and so pretty and some of my favorites. of
I didn't
the
really
decade.
listen to the 2016. I'm like, y'all are old. Enough.
Nah, I think it was nice. It was very nice. But keep
Anyway,
going.
but like when I listened to music back, like from then, you know, they took like, they'd go and try to find like, you know, the songs that nobody else knew, right? And they would like sit there for hours and hours trying to find like one part of that song that they really liked, and then they'd take like 5 seconds and then put it on their own tracks, and then that would be the basis of their song, and then from there they build a whole song with lyrics and like actual like effort or something. I don't know, like I just feel that
But that's not trap music's appeal. We have to look at. I don't want to say trap music on a gradient because that's harsh, and I don't think so. I think, but it's not. You're not looking at it. If you're listening to a trap song, you're not listening for the same like instrumental richness or lyrical delivery. You know what I mean? As you're looking for people that are playing with music. That's why, to me, at least, the most interesting trap. That's why you pointed at something when you talked about like the violence of trap. The most interesting trap is the trap music that is like very down and dirty, lo-fi, like playing with sounds type of what can we do with this art form. And normally that comes with a lot of violent, like I don't know why, becomes a lot of violent, aggressive, I mean good flows, but violent, aggressive like lyrics, violent, aggressive things in what they say. But it's also ignorant shit because they're not really checking for lyrics. Where they're putting their mental effort, and mental is how it sounds. You know what I mean? Does it sound like the drugs they're talking about in a weird way? No, but it's true. Like
It sounds like they're actually under the influence of the drugs they talk about.
Yeah.
sometimes,
always.
and sometimes it does sound like there's some of them that have when they're really good, they can create through simplicity. Trap music, that's why I love trap music in a low-key, high-key way, is the music of the simple. What can I do with the most little things? So you're not listening for instrumental depth and someone took a million years to listen to this. That's a great style of music, but it's not the same thing. What you're listening for is someone doing a lot with a little bit. And does Future do that in this album? I don't think so. I'm gonna be real. I don't think he does a lot. I think he does enough, and it's enough because it's of course a Future album. It's not gonna sound. I don't think there's a terrible Future album, but there's not been a great one since Dirty Sprite 2. And it's. I don't even think. We'll talk about Dirty Sprite 2 a little bit, but that's the closest to Future's great I've heard, because that album is, say what you will about it, it's lasted. This album is you're gonna be done with it in a month.
I was literally gonna say that. Like, no one will be listening to this album in a couple months.
It is what it is. He's turned to Meek Mill. I don't want to be that guy, but shout out to Meek Mill too, man. I'm glad he got out of prison, but Meek Mill's music has that same effect. It's so they sound dated by the time they come out.
Yeah.
This album sounds oddly dated. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
It sounds good, but it sounds like it came out in 2017.
This album sounds like it could have came out 3 years ago.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what I mean? Where's the oomph? Is it because Esco's gone?
I just feel like with Future, he has his business model is like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know? So people are still eating up this type of music. So
I mean, like, was it ever like a thing to begin with?
what, his style?
in the
Yeah.
first place?
His style?
Yeah.
You don't remember March Madness?
Mm-hmm. Know the
man, but
meaning.
Future was like huge.
Future
Huge.
is still
Is huge. But like
Yeah.
he had a specific victory run. Remember, Eddie? You break it down, please.
Please come through, Eddie.
Yeah,
Explain some
that was
Future
what,
history to us.
2015, basically, where he went for the three-peat. He dropped the, what was it, Beast Mode?
Mm-hmm.
56 Nights, and last one.
What was the last one?
2015.
Yeah.
DS2 was the last one then.
Was it DS2?
Maybe.
Yeah, it might have been, yeah.
I don't know if 56 Nights came out at the same time.
No, all I know is that he dropped 3 projects leading up to DS2,
Mm.
and it just basically built up a whole platform. And when DS2 dropped, it was groundbreaking to me, honestly. I feel like that took trap to like a whole different level.
It kind of did. It's what brought out the psychedelia in trap. Trap has sounded psychedelic ever since. I think it was right. It was right before Travis Scott had an influence. So Future did it first. It's just Travis Scott did it better, arguably, but Future did it first, and like he's been on that wave. Trap music sounds like drugs because of Future. For better or for worse, you know, Future quit lean and didn't tell his fans.
I mean, I think he kind of had to, man.
Right?
Yeah.
But checks have to keep coming in.
Yeah.
Like, is he paid by the codeine company? Like, people, his
Sure,
fans
I
will just will throw him away. He doesn't do
Sponsored by
drugs
activists.
anymore. I can't believe this. I can't listen to this anymore.
On a level though, he can't maintain that image if
Yeah.
if that's not him.
Yeah, I mean, like, have you guys heard about Offset's like new and like surprising upbringing?
Yeah.
Oh, he grew up in the suburbs, man. He had like 2 parents who went
My
to
man.
college, and they were
Oh,
like,
man.
Seriously?
yeah, they were part
No
of like
way.
one of those sororities and fraternities. His
How
dad
come
was,
he
like,
went to
a-
prison so many times?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where were his
like, how-
connections then?
Yeah.
I'm just surprised because I'm like, how did you
Stale
become
nigga.
so stupid having 2 like educated parents in the household? Like,
Whoa.
like.
I don't know if people say Offset is stupid. That man is a
I don't know
millionaire.
about okay, but like he could have done something else. Like he
Can
could
we
have been
fact
smarter
check
with
this?
the way he made music. Yeah,
Well, how
go-
did you fact check this?
Yeah,
Then
I'll-
we don't need to if you did it already.
I mean, like I fact checked it, but maybe like I fact checked the wrong stuff. You never know.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, well, whoever is listening, please fact check this. But yeah, we'll fact this ourselves too, and we'll talk about it next week. Apparently, Offset is. I don't really care. Good for him, man. I don't really care about these
No,
trap
but
rappers' lives no more.
No,
like
but the
I'm
thing
glad
is,
you brought it up, but
I don't like when like people build a whole life of violence around them when they didn't grow up in that kind of violence, because it's like, why are you exploiting other people? That's just your trauma porn like working its way through.
So did no members of the Migos grow up in a violent situation?
No, because Offset is cousins with one of them, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't.
So
give-
like I feel like if
but my
those were
family
his
doesn't
parents,
give all my
He's
cousins.
Quavo's cousin.
huh?
He's Quavo's cousin, and then Quavo is Takeoff's uncle.
Yeah, but is it immediately you're rich? Your cousins are all rich? Is that how everybody's family works?
Kinda.
Kind
Yeah.
The thing is,
I mean, like if his parents went to the thing is his parents aren't like the first people of their family to go to university. So I'm assuming the rest of their family went to university.
Cool.
It makes me
That's
wonder how
interesting.
many of these rappers are actually like his real
That
shit.
is a good
I mean, like look
question.
at Takashi, right? He's been
Yeah.
trying so hard to be hard, but he's his record label is his dad's. Like that's how
it's
you
easy
know.
to see through it though with him though. It's easy to see through it with
I
him.
agree.
You can tell
see-through.
he's not the person he portrays himself to be.
Well, yeah.
Same
'cause
thing with
he's a-
when
he's a
Trippie
white
Redd
kid
used
that
to
says
talk
the
about
N-word.
gangbanging
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Nah, but like when Trippie Redd's music got good to me is when he embraced the emo "I love you" side of his music. When he used to talk about like, yeah,
When he started
I
buying
like one
Uzi.
Trippie
Huh?
Redd song.
When he started buying Uzi.
Fahad
I said it.
layoff.
I said it.
Fahad layoff.
I said it.
Like everybody starts biting. Young Thug started off biting Lil Wayne, and look what he became. You know what? Uzi started biting. I don't know who Uzi started biting actually.
There's being influenced and then there's biting. Two different things.
Yeah, I think he's influenced. It's not
He
biting.
bit him.
No, but whatever. He's doing something new now. Don't be an asshole. Goddamn, Trippie Redd is fine. Leave Trippie Redd alone. Leave Trippie Redd alone. Yeah, I don't know. What are we talking about again? Future. This is so. Yeah. Okay. The way this conversation feels to listen to is how I feel to listen to Future album. The fact that we can't. He can't.
Real easy.
Exactly. You can't feel. Like if you enjoy the conversation at least, or you're keeping track, you can't. There's no train of thought with it. There's no thematic through line. I guess drugs is the thematic through line, and like your bitch.
Yeah. See, I listened to it in class because I was like, I kind of don't want to focus today, but I ended up focusing on the lecture. 'cause I
I'm
was
so
like,
dead.
I cannot listen
Bars.
to this album. I was like, this is
Seema's
too
about to
much.
drop a diss track.
Not a diss track.
I'm kidding.
Future
But-
will make you focus on your lecture.
So yeah, think about that. He's like lo-fi hip hop.
Someone fact checked it for us. The Migos thing.
And what they say.
Hey.
So shout out to Daniel for fact checking this.
Shout out to Daniel.
Hey.
But
Hope you're enjoying the show, bro.
yeah,
Text
it
it.
shows that. Okay, so from Wikipedia, the three grew up together in Gwinnett County, a mostly suburban area in
Gwinnett.
near Atlanta.
Yeah, like they're all family. Like,
But let's be honest. Let's
But
be
they,
honest
they
with it.
still
Let's
go
give
up to
them
all
a-
the crazy shit.
Yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. There's poor people in the suburbs, man. Like Dave Chappelle talked about being the poor family that could only just afford being in the suburbs. So yeah, it's not like he could have been remotely
But his-
removed from that life. But again, I don't know Offset.
no, because like the thing is, because I know like his parents are like both from a sorority and a fraternity, and once you're in those groups, you are immediately like guaranteed a good spot in life.
Is that right?
Yeah,
They
like, I
fucked
don't know
up.
about-
I know, right?
I mean, well, they're fine now, but boy, he was really getting into a lot of trouble. Offset,
Yeah.
especially Offset. He was
Yeah.
in and out of jail for a long time.
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, shout out to him. I guess that's what Cardi B's type is. It is weird.
Or not.
Oh, you know
Or
what?
not.
I tweeted something recently, and I added Cardi B. If she uses it, I'm gonna quick time like. What's that? Copyright my tweet. Basically, I said like she should write a lyric that says "I fuck these bitches like Offset," and I was like, if she writes that, you know, golden line.
That is
She can't do that. That's her daughter.
That's deeper. You know what I mean? That's deeper than rap music. That's deeper than rap music, though.
Zero cap.
You can't just say that. You can't just say that on the track, bro. Your daughter has ears, and so
I mean,
do
a lot
her
of guys
friends.
do it about the women they sleep with. And,
Yeah,
like,
but I
they've
feel like it's
invaded
slightly
and stuff.
different if a guy does it for the daughter. It's not different in like life. It's both horrible equally, but at least like the daughter will not be. It's different than you saying like the mom coming out and being like, yeah, the husband cheated on me, like Offset, like ha 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 ha. Like it's not really that funny in 15 years, bro. Yeah, like your child will be looking at you some type of way. It is what it is. Women have more considerations than men.
Yeah.
So,
You
like,
guys hear the new J. Cole?
yeah, J. Cole should stop using autotune. It's cringy, but the rest of the song is pretty good.
I heard it. I wasn't really feeling it at all.
You didn't feel it at all?
J. Cole fan at all.
Nah, well, I feel like, I feel like he's been growing on me for some time. I would never say I was a J. Cole fan before, but he's like, yeah, he's okay, he's cool. I feel like a lot of his features are solid.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
maybe not his own
Especially
stuff isn't
last
like,
year as well.
in recent times, man.
I think the song is good. I just think the autotune part is just like it just immediately it feels like you're time traveling the amount you cringe. It's just yeah, like you know what I mean.
So yeah, there's
But the rest of it
off
is-
about him trying to get on a trap beat or something and not like a boom bap beat.
Do you know why?
Why?
I feel like J. Cole has started a new trend in his music, and what J. Cole is doing is the best way I could describe it is J. Cole is now a trap therapist. If that makes sense. So what J. Cole does now almost professionally is give like sarcastic advice to trap rappers. And he does it really well. And it's really charming to listen to. And that's why he's doing it on the trap beat.
That's one of my favorite songs from the album before.
He does on the 21 album.
He does on the 21 now. That's all he does on the 21
yeah.
album. Where it's like, yo, bro, I know he's had a hard life, but like, I feel my nigga 21 Savage, man. Because, yo, I see you have children, bro. And like, I'm going to help you with this beat. I see him trying to make his way. And then in this one, he mentions like Kodak Black is like, man, I think of Kodak when I pray. And then I'm like, okay, bro, calm down. Like, oh, Jesus. He had interviews with, like, I think there should just be, J. Cole wants a reality show, it seems. Just do a reality show where he just gives trap rappers advice. on how to spend their money and
He
not be
actually
coons.
prayed to Kodak?
What?
He like Kodak's in his prayers. That's so deep.
No, not pray. He didn't say prayers. It's like, yeah, I think a Kodak man, blah blah blah, and then he says, yeah, they're trying to like. I wish somebody gave him better advice or something. He said something better, gave him better
I wish he
guidance.
just-
Shouldn't have
me.
raped her. Like, calm. That was the best.
I think that was what he was trying to say, but in a more poetic way. So it was like, yeah, I think. So I wish someone gave him guidance or some shit. I was like, okay, it's cool. It's nice to listen to.
Do you guys agree with the J. Cole slander?
Slander.
What's this?
What's the slander?
So
What slander?
it's like you have Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Don't you see J. Cole slander on a daily basis?
No.
Really?
On a daily basis.
Yeah, man. He gets
I
killed
mean,
a lot
my
on
Twitter
Twitter.
is more political than anything else.
Oh, okay.
J. Cole's trash, chick. I've heard.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
shit,
They killed J. Cole on
like.
But more
really
than like
People-
a normal amount.
I think
of hate.
people,
Yeah.
but people don't hate J. Cole. They hate J. Cole like stans. And I can see why, because I'm a J. Cole fan and I hate J. Cole stans. They're annoying. And like they're the ones that think J. Cole is like the reincarnation of Jah. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just that
yeah,
nigga.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now he grew his hair out. Oh my god. And J. Cole feeds into it a little bit. He pretends like he does it, but he does. This nigga posted a picture with him with the Thanos glove for the Revenge of the Dreamville mixtape.
Really?
Like he posted like, yeah, like I'm about to kill these niggas type of shit. Or like the one that like this is the one that I actually physically cringe. Like it's rare when I physically feel my body. The guy goes, I've been writing verses for ROTD and crying. I'm like, oh, come the hell on. And J. Cole fans feed into that bullshit so much. They just
What's RTD?
Oh, Revenge of the Dreamville mixtape. So it's the Dreamville is J. Cole's record label, and they're all dropping.
Speaking
tracks.
of
Go for it.
related, new release this week. It
me
was
about it.
XXX Tentacion presents.
Oh my god.
Boo.
Why do they keep postmortemly like
Bro.
digging up
Yeah,
these guys'
yeah.
unfinished tracks?
He presented it himself, bro.
No, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think the reason why is like, so once I find out like, you know, that someone is an abuser, it's like that's it, cut off from their music, finished, done, right? But before that happened, I did listen to a couple of his songs, and I can see that he was actually talented. Like he wasn't just a trap person, you know. He actually had like a voice, and like you could tell that he was trying to like, you know, make his mark. So I guess that's why they keep trying to revive him. But at the same time, like he died, didn't finish.
It's not the money, man. They're
Yeah,
just trying
I
to
think
make
it's
us.
early.
That's like
Yeah,
close to
yeah,
the money.
Yeah, you brought way too much philosophy into this. Like the record label's
That's
like,
beautiful.
he's dead, but he cannot die. Like the money he's making is
Yeah.
too
It's
real.
'cause
You know what I mean?
they-
Because
So
the thing is, like,
the money
there's
he's
a lot
making
of
is
people
very
who are,
alive.
like, yeah, because the thing is, like, I feel like because this generation never had, like, you know, a Tupac or a Biggie or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
like,
they're trying to make one.
they're trying to make one,
by
right?
force.
And so, like, because XXS
and like
was,
for some
like, on
reason
the
they leave
verge
Mac
of-
Miller and choose X. I'm like, listen, Mac Miller isn't great
he's
for
white.
that either.
He's white though.
I guess,
Yeah.
but it's
the
like
thing is, it's because X was, like,
Do you know what
on...
the difference is?
What's that?
Do you know what? It's called
Melanin.
Nah.
violence. He
With
got
Mac Miller,
shot.
so basically with X, all this music, like he doesn't own it, innit? Like the label owns
Yeah.
it. So that's why they're putting it out. But with Mac, like he has so much music that he just is never released. So that's why they're never gonna do something like that. I'm sure they'll put out something, but like with X, it's gonna be wave after wave.
You know they
of
tried it with it
music.
first.
Yeah.
They tried it with. That's why I say it's not the white thing. They tried it with Young Lean, but I don't. They stopped because people realized that like Young Lean music had a spike. I'm just gonna sound really, really harsh, but I'm gonna be real as hell. Young Lean's music had a spike. Like, oh my god, I love Lean for 3 months after he died, and then immediately like went to the normal state of Young Lean fans, which is very few. I don't know where it all is. It Young Lean? No, not Young Lean. Lil Peep. Shit, dude, Young Lean is still alive. I apologize.
Yeah, I was confused as shit
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you were
but-
saying.
but
I
it's
was
the
like, I
same-
swear this is Lil Peep.
Yeah, it's the same.
I wasn't
same
sure.
ballpark. I apologize, but yeah, Lil Peep's music skyrocketed for like 3 months when he died, and then it came
Yeah,
back
of
to
course,
normal
of
Lil
course.
Peep levels.
And same with Mac as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoa. I don't know.
Nah, I
'Cause
still listen
Mac
to
Miller,
Mac,
people
like-
listened
Okay,
to
yeah,
Mac
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
stayed
yeah.
on.
he had
And
genuine
people
fans.
had been,
No,
yeah, like
the
people
reason-
had
But
been
there's
like,
always gonna be the spike when they die. It's just the way it is.
No, it's because of X. Like
the
he
drop
hit-
of the spike is what I'm hinting at. Sorry, keep going.
X didn't hit his peak yet when he was alive. Like, because the thing is, he made one
Yeah,
album that
I
was
think,
really.
I think he did though.
No, but the thing is, we would never know
I don't
because
think it
he's
gets better
dead,
than
innit? That's
Well,
the that's the
it's a
thing.
hypothetical.
We can
but-
see
It's a
trends.
hypothetical. So I feel like I'm just
maybe I
gonna say like, you know,
You're
he
right.
hadn't hit his peak yet. Well, I would say yet because he only released one album. We don't know if that was his peak or not. Like,
What was
you
the
know?
album? 17.
I don't care.
What was the other one?
I don't.
Yeah,
Skins.
17.
17.
No,
But
I feel like
I'm
Skins
not-
is like after he died, or
Bro, honestly, when it comes to that guy, I don't know, man.
There's one song I like from X apart from.
Look at me. Look at me.
No, not even that. There's one I
don't like-
found out.
that's-
I found one like last week, and it's the one.
Oh.
There's one with Kanye West on it. I forgot what it is.
No,
There's one where
Moonlight is
there's
his
like.
best song.
I don't like Moonlight.
Really? I
Moonlight
think
is
that was such, like,
sentimental.
It was very
as hell.
raw for
It's
like
very
somebody
Jaden
who's in
Smith.
trap. Jaden, I love Jaden
Jaden Smith-ish. You love Jaden. That's fair.
I can't stand Jaden Smith.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Really? That's
I think he's sick.
He
Like,
oozes cornball.
I agree.
Exactly.
He oozes
I don't know.
cornball.
I agree.
Oh,
I don't know
All
about
over.
oh God.
Oh. over.
There actually
It's
there are
just-
times where he pulls it off and I can see through it. He pulls it off
Very
better than
rarely.
Aubrey pulls it off when he's trying to
No,
say some
he
hard
doesn't
shit.
put it off as well as Drake.
Nah.
Drake has a formula to this shit.
Drake can
is
do it.
surgical.
Drake can do it.
Drake
Yeah.
is surgical.
Drake can do it, and he
I
can
don't
do it
think
often. But
Jaden
like,
Smith is
Drake,
corny.
he oozes it.
I don't
He
know.
oozes it.
When you listen to him saying that he's an icon living, it's realistically it's hard to swallow. Like,
well, I mean,
he's
like, look at his
clearly
dad,
fucking
innit? Like,
not.
he's trying. He's not right, but I think he's trying to like say like it's. I mean, have you seen the response his dad made? He was like, "I'm the real icon living." So it's
Yeah,
just like-
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
Jaden
yeah.
made a response
Yeah,
to
I
that,
don't
like,
think
"I
Will
know,
Smith is
Dad."
That's definitely corny. Yeah,
Will Smith-
yeah.
I don't think Will Smith
that
is
didn't make it
helping.
any
that
less
didn't-
corny.
Yeah, Will Smith is even, exactly.
Get this nigga off the stage.
Honestly,
bro.
like, Will Smith is making a diss track to his son now. Nigga, the pursuit of
I mean-
the pursuit of ice.
Like I said, my new 2019 idea is like not all music is bad music.
Oh, it's
I just
not-
have to listen to it differently.
Yeah, but we can call something
Like, with
corny
the
without
headphones,
saying
like,
it's bad. I
over
don't think
there.
Jay Smith makes bad music. Jay Smith has high production value. He
It's
he
because
has-
have you
he can
heard? I
spit.
mean, his dad was a rapper, right? Like, there's no way the musical genes didn't pass down to some. No, even Willow Smith.
Are we talking about Will Smith's musical genes?
I liked Will Smith's rapping.
I listened to
I like
Big Willie
some of
Style
it.
on repeat
Big Willie style.
on a bad day.
What?
That's my shit.
I can imagine.
Also, yeah, Big Willie Style. They thought that was real.
Yeah, I
fucking
know. They thought this is it.
Yeah, Will Smith has some bangers. Will Smith is a
He's got,
goddamn
like, quite a
legend.
few
Will Smith is one of the
good
greatest
songs,
black men
like-
that's ever lived. No
He
fuck,
did the
no
Men in
cap.
Black
We're talking about
theme,
Jaden
right?
Smith
He did the
though.
Men in-
Yeah,
That's just hard.
it is hard. Will Smith is amazing. This man has
Yeah, no,
done a lot.
I feel like Jaden Smith has his moments.
Sure, I don't.
Right.
I'm not as quite as extreme as Fahad on this issue, but I have been very vocal on the fact that I just don't get the appeal of Jaden Smith. I don't think his music makes bad music, but I can't imagine listening to a Jaden Smith album. What that would I tried for the show once when Moyo was here, but I couldn't. I can't do this. And sometimes there's like double-sided, and I'm like, what is happening? And it's like. The songs will call something like D-R, and then the next song will be R, and the next one will be E, and then it all spells out dreams, like, and it's like,
That
you know
was
what, I'm
Blue,
just,
but, like, that was blue.
yeah, okay, and it's exactly,
For those people who know what the fuck's going on.
It's
yeah,
blue. It goes B-L-U-E.
L-U-E, and it's like, it's
It's four
all
intros.
pretentious, and it's
You
four intro, exactly, it's 4 intros for one album, and it's like, each of them is the intro, because it's cinematic, because it's like, it's not just Jaden
Yeah,
Smith.
I do feel like that's kind of pretentious. It's overly cinematic, but I like George Jeff.
But it's not overly
I like
cinematic.
Icon.
Cinematic music is not bad. It's just not doesn't do it. So when you claim to be cinematic and you don't, there's only one way you can taste corny.
Wait, I have a question, you guys. This is kind of like off topic, but
Go
it's
for
kind
it.
of on the topic of trap music. What you guys have you guys heard Ariana Grande's new song,
No, what's it
kinda-
called?
Yeah.
What's it called?
7 Rings?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it good?
It
I
is.
messed with Ariana Grande.
I love Ariana Grande. First of all,
Yeah, she's cool.
I think she's amazing. Like,
Thank You Next is one of the best pop songs of last year.
honestly, because the thing is, a lot of people hate the genre of pop because it's like it's generic, and that's the whole point of it. It's popular music. That's the whole.
People that hate
point.
pop music are no fun.
Yeah, not
Pop
only are
music
they no
is so
fun, but they
cute.
try. I feel like people who dislike pop music try to be separate from like
is
the
our
society itself. They're just like. I don't want to say they have this like I'm better than everybody mentality, but it's kind of like my music.
That's
taste
not
is
true.
better
Not all the
than
time.
everybody.
Sometimes
Not all
pop
the
music
time.
Play
is
devil
not
advocate.
appealing.
But the thing is, this
Yeah.
Pop music
there's
is
a
not
lot of
appealing to
pop music
everybody.
That is appealing. though.
Literally,
Like,
everyone
It's
thinks
not-
their music taste is better than
Yeah,
everyone
it is what it
To
is.
play-
okay,
And
but
that's
like,
the thing.
but the thing is, for example, you could say that you don't like a certain artist, but you could say if they're objectively good.
Right.
Like,
Could we?
Ari-
What is objectivity in music theory?
I mean,
Really?
like, okay, so Ariana Grande, for example, she can actually sing. You can't deny that she can't
Facts.
sing. Like, you
Yeah.
can't deny that.
She
You
can.
hear it on the
But
record.
I
You hear the
can
notes that
possibly
she hits.
deny that I don't like her music because like, I know
With-
people, very smart people and very non-pretentious people. I can't imagine them listening to Ariana Grande. Some of them, they're just like, this is not. They won't get enjoyment out of it. At most, they'll be like, yeah, it sounds pretty. But if it's not for them. They don't understand. It's really weird. And there's actually papers on this that I've partially read, but I don't want to read that much
Is
because
pop music really popular music?
no,
thing is-
actually, when there's structures. structures of music you used to listen to when you were a child affect how you listen to music when you're an adult, because it affects the call and like music is call and response, a lot of it, and the call and response structures are ingrained to you when you're a child. It's very unlikely and very rare for people to pick up new music tastes when they grow up. It's genetic.
The thing is about pop music, yeah, is that
So if you listen to pop music, you're not gonna.
the thing is, I actually as a whole, I feel I like pop music, but with my type of pop music, I like 80s pop music, right? However, I feel my issue with pop music today is that, like, to me, sometimes it doesn't really feel like music. It feels like products to just sell to people.
Let's pick out some artists.
One Direction.
Chainsmokers.
Chainsmokers is not pop music. Chainsmokers is pure trash. Chainsmokers is not music.
like-
No, they're not considered pop music.
robots.
They're
No,
more
they're-
like considered
they're
electro. Like
It's like pop. yeah,
Okay, I
it's
guess you
pop.
can say electronic. It's
'Cause
electronic
you
pop.
could say the same thing about Cardi B.
Electro.
Like, she's a rapper, but she's like a pop star now.
rap pop. Actually, rap pop is a category.
Yeah. It's like
of music now
Chainsmokers is
because-
definitely pop stars, but
No, but there's great pop. There's Carly Rae Jepsen's music is pretty goddamn phenomenal.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
Her
what I mean.
music is pretty dope.
There's some great pop stars, like especially with her, like, because some like that. Why I like 80s pop so much is that, like, they take those structures you spoke about and, like, they just take it to another level.
Exactly.
Right.
But the ones that are, you know what? I see what you mean. Where the best pop musicians of today, I would feel, are very 80s reminiscent.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande is a
Ooh,
huge,
Troye
basically.
Sivan is really, really good.
Who, sorry?
I don't know who
as
that
a
is.
pop artist.
Who?
Talk about Troye Sivan.
Troye Sivan.
Oh, Troye Sivan.
So he was this YouTuber like a long time ago, and he started making music, and he's now left YouTube and does music, and he's actually really good.
Okay.
Like, his pop music is very different. Like, I've never heard anybody else produce like a pop. Like, his newest album, forgot what it was called, but there's this one song on it that's what's that song? The Good Side. It's called The Good Side. I've never heard any music ever so raw in my entire life. Like, I fully cried and I wasn't even sad in that moment, and I was just like, wow, this is intense. Like,
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Check out the
yeah,
good side.
yeah.
He was an actor before he became a singer.
Yeah, he was an actor when he was like 10 in South Africa
Yeah,
in
he
like
was,
one
really
movie.
famous,
Yeah, he was like really famous in South Africa,
Yeah.
and then he left and he went to Australia, and everybody was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Well, fair enough. Shout out to pop music. I don't know. Some of it is nice. Shout out to Ariana Grande, I guess. How did we get here?
What was your
How-
question?
yeah,
My,
You're saying-
my
What was- yeah,
question
what
was,
your
what
question?
do you, if you've heard the song, what do you think of Seven Rings? Because like people have been saying like, oh, she's just
She's
using like
biting
trap
this,
to
yeah.
like be popular and
But
stuff.
yo,
but I think,
everybody's doing that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
So I
I'm
don't
just like,
think
let
she
her
should
do
do
her
it.
thing.
That's pop
innit?
music, bro. If you're not okay with that, then you're not okay with pop music.
I've been saying this. Trap music died when Katy Perry made a song with the Migos. So anybody can do trap
Yeah,
music. now. Like,
they've been doing this.
Might
Which
as
song
well.
was this?
What's it called?
It was the one where she was dancing like a spaghetti.
Yeah, it's the one where she's food, and the video is actually disgusting. Like I don't normally hate music videos. I either like it or I don't. It's not for me.
Was
I
that-
hate this music
was
video.
that
I'm trying to remember what it's
before or
called.
I don't like
Huh?
Katy Perry.
Was that before or after Miley Cyrus's old episode?
After.
It was after. Okay, this
Miley
was
Cyrus
this was
started it out.
2017.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and she's in a bowl, and like they're dressing her with food, and they're pouring like milk, and like I don't know what food they're making. I'm a huge cook fan, and like seeing that just made me disturbed and disgusted. It's very unhygienic, and the Migos are in it, and that's when trap music died. So yeah, anybody can use a trap beat. I don't know, is it good? Have you heard the song?
I mean, I wouldn't listen to it again, but like, I see why people like it.
Yeah.
I see why people like it. But I don't know if you're up in arms about that. Why weren't you up? Well, I'm sure they were up in arms about. But why weren't you up in arms when Katy Perry did that, or when Miley Cyrus did that, or there are so many
People
instances.
don't like Ariana. It's weird.
It's because
You know
she
what?
went through
I
such a
find her. I
crazy
find her quite
year.
irritating.
Damn.
I find her quite irritating. I'm gonna say that.
Talk your truth,
Find
bro.
her irritating.
Yeah, I find
Why?
it because so how like with Ariana Grande, like I think she can really sing. Yeah, I think she's really really good at like what she does. Yeah, making me. But like sometimes I just get this overwhelming urge to just like, can you shut up, please?
Damn.
Like,
mean, I
because like she listen,
I
like,
mean,
she
considering-
does so much, like especially on Twitter, like
Yeah.
so it's
No, it's
so
basically-
frustrating.
It's because of the last 2 years, to be honest, that she started being more like having an online
Yeah.
presence. Because like first after the Manchester bombing,
Yeah.
she like left the internet for a little bit. She was like, huh, right, and then the whole thing with Mac Miller, she was dealing with like his abuse of drugs and stuff, and she was trying to help him out. And so obviously she realized that she couldn't be the one to help him, so she had to leave that relationship.
Why did she have to
And
get married
then-
a week later though?
Well, because like first of all, actually, it's because Pete Davidson has borderline personality disorder, and the deal with that is when you find one person that like you really care about, you feel like you're supposed to depend on that person for the rest of your life. Like,
but still, Ariana
it's a
Grande's
very
choice to marry him.
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like, remember she had like a whole crazy year. Like, however she copes with it is how she decided to cope with it. I mean,
So
she
does
ended
she
up
have borderline personality disorder or Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson, which is when
Okay.
he proposed. It was her decision to say yes because of the whole crazy year. You get me? Are we all caught
So
so
she
far?
took some. She
Was
took
this
some
on
L's.
record?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, if you see the way Pete Davidson and her relationship went through, it just seems like Pete Davidson was living off of her. Like, he was just living in her house.
Pete
He
Davidson
didn't pay
is
for shit.
so-
Exactly, and he was like talking. He used her as like this way to get famous. Like on every radio show, he talked about having sex with her, about like moments he has with her, about like just all this stuff that's
There was a
unnecessary
point when she
to say.
bit into that though. It was so corny. I hated every interview he was on. It's like, tell me how you met Ariana. Nah. And they will always tell the story, and she's like, it's the best thing that ever happened in my life.
Yeah, but then, like-
I'm just like, whoa, calm down, bro. Like,
could also
you just
be,
said
like-
hello.
I mean, it could also be like the whole thing with Mac Miller. Like, I cannot imagine being partners with somebody who has like such a huge struggle with abuse. Like, I have friends who struggle with like alcohol abuse and drug abuse, and like being friends with them alone is hard. I can't imagine being in like a solid relationship trying to like, because you can't. When it comes, even therapists can't fix their loved ones. It's not allowed. That's the whole point
So
of
is
it.
this a
You can't-
justification for
Not a justification, but I'm saying like maybe after she left Mac Miller is like she was like, I'm finally in like a decent-ish relationship where I can like move forward and stuff, and then Mac Miller obviously passed, which is a very hard time for her because like nobody's even if you didn't like your ex, it's still hard to see them dying. Like,
I wouldn't know. I'm like, they're still alive. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Depends on which.
All of them.
I can never be that lucky. I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm kidding, mostly.
But yeah.
Yeah, well,
I don't
shit.
think they ended their relationship in bad terms.
No, yeah.
necessarily.
on Mac Miller and
Just 'cause
Ariana
it-
Grande.
It does
Yeah,
seem to hurt
no.
her, and she does seem authentic about it. I don't know what Fad is talking about. I'm not on Twitter, so I don't see her activity.
She's annoying.
I can imagine.
I just wanted to shut up.
Damn. Well, it is
I
what
feel
it
like
is.
she can have
makes
like
okay
a few more
music.
months to run with this, because like the thing is like she made after the Manchester bombing was like the whole like big wave of everything, and then her and Pete Davidson breaking up, and then Mac Miller passing away, and then the whole internet blaming her for like his death. Kind of, she was like, "What?" So this is like a whole new album as well. Like,
I mean, I get it, but please shut up.
Yeah, I cannot.
feel like
maybe
that was
just
the
mute
main
her
point.
then. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's because I can't escape her. She's everywhere on the TL. You can't escape her.
Just
Even-
unfollow her. Does that not
I don't
work?
follow her.
it's
Oh.
because
You gotta
she's
follow
that
her.
bitch.
Oh, if you say so. If you say so.
I know.
I mean, she's doing well right now, but it's just please
should
be
go to
quiet. Please be quiet.
It's been a while.
It's just what I'm
been an
saying
hour.
with Twitter and these
It has
certain
been an hour.
circles. You gotta go watch it, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's play some ASAP Rocky. Although it's only ASAP Forever they seem to have on this album. So, and I think they have like Praise the Lord, but I can't find that right now. We're gonna play some
And
ASAP Forever.
This don't even be ASAP for people who are listening live.
Yeah, and people on
The real
YouTube,
one.
well, we don't have money to pay every single musician we play.
We broke.
We broke as hell, bro. Shout out to me. Anyway, we could do all right. ASAP Forever, yeah. Bang. Check, 1, 2. Can everybody hear themselves?
Yeah, unless you broke it. just
I might
go
have.
for that.
I broke the thing. No? Did I break the thing?
Nah, it's all
Did I
good.
not? Awesome.
We're good.
Awesome.
I got another new song that I want to talk about that came out this week.
Talk about it quickly. We'll do a new segment called To Whom We May Concern. So
Okay.
Alex will talk about his niche music a little bit.
Yeah, to hear making son.
To Whom We May Concern. Whoever finds
Injury Reserve had a new track out
Who?
called Injury Reserve. Just yeah, you listen to it.
Rap
Oh,
collective.
yeah, I think
Which one?
so.
Which one are you talking about? Which one?
Jawbreaker
Okay.
with Rico Nasty.
I love
Rico Nasty is dope on that song.
Yeah,
Like,
she had a hard
Rico
verse.
Nasty by herself is awful, but on every feature.
Nah, she's not bad, man.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. She has one or two tracks and it's like okay, and then the rest is like.
That album was actually, I fully was like, I listened to it like for the first time and I was like, it's not that bad. And listened to it again and I was like, what?
But you know what? You know what? She could go places if she.
Yeah, I think she has mad potential. I think she has mad potential.
She does, like, she's great on features.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
talk about the song, bro.
yeah, I like that. I guess it was like a.
That shit, man.
I'm saying a critique of the fashion industry or a critique of being a hype beast kind of thing.
Yeah, I think like critique of the fashion industry
Mm.
and like because there's just like a whole bunch of weird shit that happens in the fashion industry. So I'm glad that they're actually speaking about it.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. You like A$AP Rock?
Oh yeah, Aesop Rock.
Yeah, Aesop Rock.
I was
yeah,
trying to say this to someone the other day.
Yeah, Aesop Rock.
But yeah.
You hear his new album?
No.
So basically, he made a new album with So he made a new album with a guy called Tobacco. Right?
Yeah.
Fantano's
Bro,
Instagram.
okay.
Yeah.
This it's called
Malibu
Fucked Up
Ken.
Friends or something.
Oh no, that's Tobacco's
Tobacco album.
Yeah, I'm a
That
huge Tobacco
album.
fan. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, do you listen to Blackmore Super Rainbow?
Nah.
Oh, so that's okay. So Tobacco is like 1/3. So that's his group pretty much. So the Fucked Up Friends is his solo album,
Okay.
and then he has his own group, and they're one of my favorite electron artists ever. Honestly.
Okay, cool.
So you should check it out. But
I've never met anyone else that has listened to this Tobacco album.
Oh, man, yo,
it's such
insane.
a weird
listen, bro, if you like that album, you're
Yeah,
in for such a treat with the Blackmore Super Rainbow album.
Dope.
I swear to God, like
dope.
you're gonna have such a good time.
Cool.
But yeah, they collabed. They made an album called Malibu Ken.
Right.
And I think you guys check it out. Everybody should check it out. Great album,
Nice.
honestly. Really interesting beats. Very psychedelic sounding beats. And a great rapper from Aesop Rock.
Well, if
Yeah.
we're all
So,
doing
everyone
two
check it
movie
out.
concerns, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Ooh,
Check out all these ones. Yeah, I'll do one quick one. Check out James Blake. He's amazing. I don't really have that
James
much to
Blake?
say. James Blake's music
Yeah.
is for who, if you have an ear for it, if you know what you're looking for, James Blake is doing things with music that are like new, like brand new. Like his new album. Okay, this is a bit of music theory, very nerdy, and I'll just illustrate the whole album in one point about one song. The song is called Lullaby for an Insomniac. First of all, the lyrics in that song are very simple, very minimalistic, but very amazing. If you're an insomniac, you will understand and you'll get that album if you've ever had trouble sleeping, at least. But regardless of that, the actual song, the way it sounds, there's a part in it where James Blake is doing melodies, and there's this thing, if you've ever been in a choir, there's a thing where if all the parts of the melody are perfectly right, the waveforms all mix and create a sound that is not being made by anyone in the choir. And that's what, like, if the choir masters are listening,
That's
in-
how the Gregorian
chant
chants
works. Good. If a
Yeah.
choir master is listening in a choir and is practicing, he's listening for the voice of God. That's the idea of it, right? James Blake does this where there's two different separate harmonies and there's points in it, notes, and it will only last for like 3 seconds. But it's the best. Like there's two separate harmonies playing, so there's two perfect harmonies being played, like, and it can only be done electronically and with amazing singing and knowledge of music theory. But there's two separate harmonies playing. Each of them are playing making a note that doesn't exist. The voice of God is being made twice, and then those notes harmonize on the song.
That's fucking amazing.
That song
crazy.
is
That's
ridiculous,
also
crazy. Yeah.
and the rest of the album is amazing too. Moses Sumney's on it. Travis Scott's on it. It's the worst song of the album, but I like it still. It's still catchy.
You
but it's the worst
know,
song of the album.
fun fact, yeah. The
The rest of it is
headphones.
dope. Go for it.
You know, earbud headphones, they can't
And-
make
and 3000 is
bassy
on it.
frequencies because they're physically too small. So they use that same effect to make the bass tone by using two higher frequencies.
I see.
That's why you can't replace some
Some
big
over-ear
headphones.
headphones.
Yeah, you cannot replicate the sound. It's not possible.
Damn.
So there you go.
So that's good
So
to know.
all you AirPod users,
Yeah.
So what are you saying? What's your to whom it may concern?
It's not really about new music. It's about old music. If anybody out there likes The Far Side, if you know the song Runnin', I actually recently just found the song that the trumpet that they sampled from. I just found out the original song. And I was really gassed because I was like, what, Matt? It's called Suadade Vem Correndo. It's by Stan Getz. He's a Brazilian artist.
oh, he's a great artist. Great
Yeah,
artist.
he's really good. I always liked him, but I didn't know that they like took some of his
Sample,
songs, and
yeah.
I was like, Matt.
I think Jay Dilla produced that, and he likes that style of jazz. Like, what's it called, bossa nova?
Dylan.
Yeah.
He samples a lot of it. But that's great. So what's it called? Can I take a picture? I'm gonna check that out.
Yes, it's for the people who don't know, Saudade Vem Correndo. My Portuguese is very bad.
Have fun spelling that one.
It's better than mine, probably.
Great
Okay.
song, by the way.
It is a great. Yeah. Have you
Running, great song.
Running by
great
the
song,
Far
yeah.
Side.
All right. So
It's
yeah, we done with our to whom it concerns. Oh, a quick one. Young Justice is amazing. The new season is great. It's not disappointing. It's really well written. Like really, 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 really well written. There was an episode. Yeah.
Are you
Young
whelmed?
Justice.
Oh, we could talk
I
about
am-
TV shows out here.
A little bit, but I just wanted to throw this out there because, like, I'm so excited. I was so scared when they said they're bringing it back. Whenever they bring back TV shows I love, it's, let's just say it's not the best. And like, I won't watch it if it's not for me. I don't go on the internet and complain about it. But like, wow, I'm actually like have a reason to be happy and like, yo, something's coming out on a Friday to look forward to. Young Justice is dope, and I missed it. And like, it's it's not corny, but it's progressive and in a way that's natural and organic. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a vision of the world I love, and it's a vision of the world with ethnic minorities and still like conflict, but you know, where people are considered, and like superheroes. Like, if you're tired of superhero movies where nobody saves anybody, where superheroes actually like try and save people, and that's their main prerogative every episode. No matter what bullshit they're going through, the good guys are always trying to save the kids. It's a great show. And the editing in episode 7 is goddamn phenomenal. The way they edit, what's it called? All the storylines together. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you know, you know. Just please check it out. Check out all of
On
y'all.
the flip side of that,
It's amazing.
you know, there's a live action Kim Possible remake coming out.
It's whack.
Oh,
it's
it's
whack.
trash.
They all look like
Okay.
It's
every
awful.
single.
So they were all
Awful.
watching Kim Possible.
Kim
It's
Possible
awful.
looks
Possible.
like
I
a
really
bitch.
wanted to
like,
drop
I'm
that.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
Shigo is gonna take her out, and Shigo looks like a bitch. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
bad
she
it
does
is.
too.
Sorry,
She
has
does
the
too.
trailer come out or something?
So,
How do we
okay,
know?
Yeah.
The trailer came out, and I was
Rewind.
Wait, is there a naked
Rewind.
Morad? Is it
It's weak.
CGI?
But-
Is there a naked Morad and is it CGI?
Hold on. So I just wanted to say that to see how many like people knew the fuck I was talking about, and surprisingly,
Possible's
everybody.
amazing.
So
Kim
yeah, they're making a
Possible.
live action remake, and
wanna
it's
reach me?
yo,
Bars.
this looks whack as fuck.
Yeah.
Awful.
Is it coming out?
It's
Is it
so-
coming out on Netflix?
Hey,
I think
Normally
Disney
that's
one
when
Channel.
can
it
hope.
comes out.
It's
Huh?
it's on
One
Disney
hope.
Channel, I think.
I wouldn't
On
watch
the
it if it
Disney
came out on
Channel.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
everyone that
watch
comes
it
out on
wherever
Netflix,
it comes
comes
There's
out
there's
as
being
always
bad,
trash.
yeah, and then this is where it is. It just looks awful. It looks terrible.
It looks like they literally took the original cartoon version of Kim Possible and dumbed it down for kids even more so.
Well,
I'm like, that was unnecessary.
and Shigo's not even hot.
For real.
So
Because the thing is, with
She
Kim
goes on
Possible,
high.
Kim Possible was actually
Cancel
cool.
the whole show, bro.
Cancelled the
Throw away
whole-
the whole thing.
Honestly,
She
because
was-
it was actually such a cool show.
it was a cool show.
It was-
Girls,
so
boys, everybody liked it.
Yeah.
But now it just looks so like sneaky.
Yeah.
Like, look at the girl. Like, who's gonna take her seriously?
you know.
Okay, well,
swear.
bro, it's so fucking.
No one's
How
gonna
you
take her seriously.
How are you telling me you're about to fight and save the whole entire world when
Big
you can't even put your
man.
backpack on right? Like you're
Wow.
you're late to the bus. I'm sorry.
Shit.
Like
Wow.
And I think really
Kim
it,
Po-
it,
Check out
the
this
original
trailer.
Kim Possible would have never been late for that bus.
It
Like
could-
let's just say
yeah.
that.
it could never happen in live action. Well, it just can't.
It
it's
could,
a
they
show.
really
no,
couldn't, no.
So
Because
kinetic.
even
It's such a
even
kinetic
as
show,
a she's a high schooler, right? So she's not an adult. It's gonna be
She
an
was still, like,
adult
17,
playing a high
18.
schooler anyway. So it's gonna look wrong from the offset.
I would have been okay with it. I would have been like, as long as they make it badass, yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought
'Cause
I
she-
thought you were
I
gonna
mean,
refer to
in
the
the-
action. The action scenes are too large scale for like a straight to Disney movie. Like
Not even. There's some really bad wire work in the in,
no,
in the
I
trailer.
mean that's
and
what I'm
it's
saying.
like,
It's gonna be trash. Like the actions because you can draw anything.
Yeah.
The action scenes, the actual Kim Possible animation.
Oh, of course,
If
yeah,
you wanted to
yeah,
get
yeah.
that same energy, you can't. That's why I
they
said
could
it's very
teach this girl how to
kinetically
throw a
animated.
kick, throw a punch, and make something
Yeah,
that didn't
like
look
I've
awful.
seen them.
They're not gonna make this girl John Wick for a Disney movie.
You know one thing though?
They could have
Maybe
found a John Wick type girl though. It's not hard.
Yeah, but it's
Just
hard,
dye her hair
it's
red.
hard to find
like-
one that can act.
maybe we're looking at it from the perspective of like adults. Because you remember when you were a kid, yeah? Like, let's say for example.
No, Kim Possible was still sick.
Oh no. Of course, yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I mean like, for example, you remember the film Like Mike with Bow Wow?
Yeah.
So like, I watched that recently. That's a great film, yeah.
Still a great.
That's a great film. But I watched that
Classic.
recently, and like, I could see why someone would say that's a terrible film, and that's because like, I'm an adult now, so I notice a lot more things, like about cinematography and just like things like that. Yeah.
That money the
I don't know, kids
cartoon
will-
holds up.
Oh, definitely,
That
definitely.
money.
Yeah, 100%. Because like,
Definitely.
I'm honestly not forgetting the fact that Kim Possible saved the world every single night, like every day.
Yo.
She come home and then do her homework and go to bed. I'm like,
Well,
yo.
if we're gonna complain about TV shows, I'm gonna complain one about one quickly. So I love American Gods. The first season of American Gods is probably one of my favorite first seasons of a TV show ever, and the new season looks like ass. I just wanted to get that out there for anyone who knows, anyone who's concerned about this. Check out they released a scene from it, like a teaser scene. One, they fired the director. They fired Brian Fuller, and if you know about Brian Fuller, you know Hannibal, that show.
Yeah.
Brian Fuller is the writer that made that show as smart as it was, with his directing team, who's also director of of American Gods, who I can't remember, who made that show look like melting chocolate every goddamn episode. Hannibal is a beautiful looking show, and it's about dead bodies,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
true.
beautifully
He
constructed.
eats them, but it's quite appealing when he eats them.
Even
in
the
a
way,
weird way.
like Hannibal is the only thing apart from anime that looks cooking sexy like that, and it's cooking human bodies. Like this man knows what he's doing. Cinematography is impeccable, and guess what they did? They fired them because they wanted a bit more money for season 2, a show that people liked, and the show network was like, no, profit margin. Fired the guy, and obviously must have gotten some generic phony because in every episode of American Gods is a show and a book about aesthetic, about how the image influences your perspective on things, and how, like, because human beings can attach realities and attach, like, we can make reality real. That's what makes us gods. We can make, like, no, we don't numb reality. We can make images real. Like, the symbols we attach to, for example, it's about gods and about deities and about, like, New Game is a mythology nerd, so there's a bunch of mythologies from around the world, and I'm a mythology nerd too, so it's like the book was written for me, but it's perfect. I love that book. But it's about how we attach meaning to symbols and how the meaning we attach to it is so real and so vivid, and like we basically, because gods live or die with our perception of them. Gods live or die with our knowledge of them. Gods live or die with our worship. It makes us gods. That's the idea of the book. It's a beautiful book, and it
sounds interesting.
It is a really interesting book. And the first season of that show is like somebody read the same book you did, a niche book that not a lot of people like, loved the same book you did for both the same reasons you did, understood it, and then talentedly translated that to TV. I was in goddamn nirvana with that show. The show is kind of trashy, don't get me wrong, but it's part of the aesthetic because the book is kind of trashy. The book, like the show, this is one of the shows, it's not a spoiler, it is what it is. One of the members of the cast swallows up someone through her vagina. The show is that, and the show films that unapologetically, and the show gets to the point of that scene, and you know what I mean, and like the show is gung-ho with it. Like Brian Fuller went full on, like, no, I don't know if it's Brian Fuller, that's the name of the director, that's the X-Men director, I don't know why that name is in my head. Please Google the name of the director, but the guy he made the show glow with pizzazz. Like every little scene you could feel a god was on screen. I watched the thing they released now for the season 2 with the guy not directing, and it looks like ass. They're just in some garage. It's just poorly lit. Like the guy just looks like some other regular dude, and these are supposed to be gods, and they look like members from Dumb and Dumber, the TV show. I was so
shout
annoyed.
Out to Jim Carrey.
Huh?
Shout out to Jim Carrey.
I mean Dumb and Dumber too. Dumb and Dumber is funny, but it's like it is what it is. I'm a fan of film and I hate this shit, but I
so
give it the benefit
seal
of
of
doubt, it's gonna be
disapproval
good.
is what you're saying.
For now, if I see the show and it changes my mind, like, okay, maybe they got a good director who did it for a smaller budget somehow, maybe I'm open to possessions, and I'm still gonna watch the show because this show has me so much. It's gonna be one of those shows I will hate watching all the way through season 10, but I'll still watch it because the first season was just that good, and it will never be the same. And here we are. I can never have nice things. To whom may concern. Let's talk about classic albums. Yeah.
Okay, what makes a classic album? Let's just get this out the way.
So do we all have examples?
I have example. Of course. How do you not have an example?
I'm just making sure. All right, so
Okay.
let's list them out.
But what makes a good classic album first? Let's get that out the way, right?
Use
it
just
should
an
be
example.
Use
as an example.
Okay, the low end theory.
Okay.
Like that is one of
Certified classic.
Yeah.
exactly.
We're stamping stamps
every
right now,
single
that's what
song
it is.
on that album was good. Everything.
Unskippable.
Huh?
Unskippable.
Exactly. Like you
Yeah.
listen to the whole thing through and through, and you're just
It's
like,
a day.
I want to listen to it again one more time. Like, you know, it's that kind of. And the thing is, I've been listening to this album for the last like 15 years of my life, and I still haven't stopped listening to it every single day, at least once a day. I listen to something from the Low End Theory.
So is that the first or second?
First one.
First one.
Yeah. And
Tribe Called Quest album.
Second.
Yes.
What,
my
Midnight
second
Marauders
or
wasn't the first
second
one?
or
It's
third.
the second. The first one is the one I forgot what it's called, but it's got I left my wallet and
Sex
El
on a
Segundo.
Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one.
I left
It's the
my
second
wallet
one.
in El
Low End Theory came
Segundo.
out in 91. It's the second album. The first one came out in 1990.
Cool. Yeah, talk about it. So what makes
Yeah.
a classic?
So
Let's define it, 'cause it can't just
every
be good.
single song on that album is great. Everything was original on that album. You could hear the distinction of every single person in A Tribe Called Quest on that album. And the thing is, I think because like, you know, back then it was different. Like you wouldn't have a music video, or like you would, but it would be on MTV like once a day. Like, you know, where like you wouldn't know who's who on the track. So they always come in like, you know, like Five Dog would come in with his little thing, and then, you know, my name's Malik, the 5 foot freak, you know, that was his whole tagline, and every single one of them had yeah, and the thing is, they would introduce themselves in every single song, and it never was corny because they would change it up and actually make something of it, and just classic.
The beats on it
classic.
too, man.
Exactly.
If you like jazz, you'd like it, but the beats on it too are great.
Exactly, the beats are great because like basically what they did was they all went to like different music stores across like from, I don't know where they're from, but like wherever their city was, and like New York, yeah. So like I watched what's that thing on Netflix? Like the new show about like 90s rap and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know
It's
about that one.
I watched the whole second season recently, and
Sounds
it was
interesting,
about
though.
it was sick. So like the whole first season was
Find
about
out.
like Pac, Biggie, and like about MC Hammer and about like
The maniac
De La
that held
Soul,
him over
every-
the balcony and
No.
threatened him with his life. What's that nigga's name?
sorry?
Suge Knight.
I've seen that.
I mean, like, no, they didn't mention him.
reference
But the
Suge
thing,
Knight? Okay.
but the thing is, like, every single person they like dove into like how they started their own like sound, and the way A Tribe Called Quest started was like they're all just like, let's just do this for fun, right? And look at what their fun fucking took them. Like that's
It's
just
the same thing with the Wu-Tang.
And the
I feel
music
like.
is
yeah.
fun.
No, Wu-Tang actually
important.
wanted to make a mark because they were like Staten Island people aren't getting the representation they need. They're like Staten Island niggas are ruthless, you know. That was they were trying to like, you know, make their mark in
Yeah,
rap.
did they sell it?
They did. They sold it because everybody thought
they're
Staten
still
Island people
selling it.
were whack. They were
Yeah.
just like,
All right.
Dang.
They did their job, man.
So bring up some
Yeah.
examples, right?
And some.
Go. Who's
Um,
next?
Shit, man. All right. So
uh,
you wanna go? No,
yeah.
you go.
To Pimp a Butterfly. That's
Yeah?
a classic.
Classic.
And that one, that one, like in particular, is funny
Is
because
that
it's a
early?
recent.
Is it early to call that a classic?
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a recent release, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But it's a classic. And
I mean, the thing is, a classic doesn't have to be a classic of all time. It can just be a classic album.
No, but classic time definition.
you definitely you
It
need
is a
some
classic.
time to reflect on the album. Like I couldn't call an album that came out last week a classic, even if it was a classic. You know what I mean? In 20 years, but I feel like a quality of a classic is it has to be timeless, and there's a timeless element to the album.
It is.
Yeah, fair
I was
enough.
listening to
Yeah.
For Free recently, and even like
Yeah.
the interludes on that album are lit. Like it's ridiculous. Like,
and it's
that
the
album is
perfect
almost
concept
perfect.
album. It's almost perfect.
No, I said perfect.
Oh, okay, it's okay then.
Well, I'm trying to think maybe of a flaw
No.
into Pimp a Butterfly.
Flawless, man. Flawless.
Like,
Flawless.
honestly, it has
Even
like
honestly, You was like institutionalized and You, two like powerful songs. that I
Institutionalized
will
is
never
great. My
forget.
favorite song on
The
it is
whole
I.
package is just.
Although
Yeah.
the single
The-
release of I is amazing. Like I love, and then Mama Said is a dope song.
I really love.
That's a kicking man.
These walls could talk.
If these walls could
Yeah.
touch, these walls is a
If
banger.
these walls could talk.
Institutionalized because the basic of Snoop Dogg is dope and
Yeah.
smooth as hell. So yeah, what is your classic album?
Me,
So what are we defining as classics now? So
Right.
timeless
So
nature
for
to
me,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So as you said, timeless,
Unskippable.
unskippable tracks. But also another criteria is cohesiveness. Like I love an album that how do I say it? Like feels like an album.
Instead of
You know,
just a bunch
you know those albums are like, oh, what a great body of work. You know, when you talk about the song, you talk about the whole album, and that song reminds you of the whole album, and the whole album has a specific sound or direction or something that the artist was going at. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I have so many classics, but
Yeah.
one that represents this perfectly is Daft Punk Discovery, right?
Okay.
And that came out 2001. Has songs like One More Time,
One more
Face to Face, Something About Us. So I love that album so much because it's so cohesive, and also that album is truly timeless. That album could have came out. It came out 2001. That album could come out next week and still sound as current and fresh as anything out right now.
Okay.
Anything. And like start to finish, perfect. And they had a theme of futurism and roboticism, if that's a word, or just this whole futuristic aesthetic, and they just completely nailed it, man. They nailed it. It's a perfect album, start to finish, honestly.
How about you, bro?
Yeah. For a classic album, I'm gonna have to say that basically, as a body of work, as a whole project, it needs to have a lasting impact, in the sense that it needs to get the people talking. So my example I'm gonna use is Illmatic.
Okay.
That is a sick album.
Classic.
Yeah, classic.
Stamp.
I feel like with Illmatic, if you do your history, if you do your Googles about like the history of hip hop, you'll see that when Illmatic dropped, it literally changed the whole game completely.
Everything about it.
This is just like a hidden gem, just like a fun fact, but when Illmatic dropped, it sold 50k first week, and then basically people were clowning Nas, saying that his album didn't sell rare. But what they don't know is that the only reason why it sold 50K first week was because it was bootlegged so much. Literally, everybody wanted to get their hands on that album. So that's what,
It's because like before Nas even dropped the album, he had one verse that like in the underground rap scene, he had one.
Live at the barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. He had that one rap, and everybody was like, "What?" When he, yeah, exactly. That was the line that everybody was like, "This kid, like, you know."
And what's crazy is
I didn't know about
he
this.
was just
Huh?
18
I
years
didn't know
old.
about
when,
this.
Yeah,
when he
exactly.
did the verse. 18 years old.
Yeah, what's
and
this
everybody
verse?
was like, he's young and he's like whipping out these kind of new, like nobody had ever said anything like that before. Like snuffing out Jesus, that's Jesus.
Was
Like,
Yeah.
So the song was a Large Professor song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had a bar in it that goes, "When I was 12, I went to jail for snuffing Jesus."
Yeah.
And like he said that 94,
91.
91.
yeah,
Unheard of at that time.
nobody would ever dare to put Jesus' name in a rap song like that. Like,
Crazy.
Crazy.
Damn. Fair enough, Filmatic. So yeah, I agree with all your points on what makes a classic. Cohesiveness, I agree.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Cohesiveness in music in general is a big thing.
Yeah, and
and it's important.
Go ahead. Yeah, finish.
Yeah, I don't know. If an album comes out and it's falling apart, this is like looking weird. This is like, what the fuck? It's not fitting together properly. It's not a good album.
Cardi B's album.
Yeah, shots. Like
I know, right? For
Vince
no reason,
Staples'
almost.
album FM came out a month ago or something, whatever. He has the whole radio show thing going on, and there's like little skits in there, just mixed in really well. That is a really cohesive album. It's good
Well, yeah.
stuff.
What album
So
was that?
FM, and then with the exclamation mark.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of nominees here. Reasonable Doubt is a perfect album, I think. Well, let me not say it's perfect. Reasonable Doubt's not perfect, but Reasonable Doubt is a goddamn classic because Reasonable Doubt has. But that's not even my pick.
What's your pick?
Yeah, I could bring up. I love that I brought up Illmatic. That was one of my choices. I was thinking of modern classics too, and what defined a modern classic. I was thinking of Dark Fantasy as a modern classic. But it has to be, to me, what defines a classic the most is something that changes the like landscape of hip hop, like visibly, like to the day it is. And for someone that changed the landscape, a group that changed the landscape of the South a lot and that has never sounded like it before is Outkast. The South has never sounded the same since Outkast. And Outkast,
was
Aquemini.
even the psychedelia in a lot of
Classic,
music.
Is Aquemini your pick? Or?
Aquemini is my pick. Because Aquemini is, I think, spotless. Like that album is insane. There's skits on it that are the weirdest thing ever. There's a skit where like it's like Igor, and it makes sense though in the themes of the song. For example, Spodio with Doublish is one of my favorite songs of all time. That song is a 7-minute like psychedelic trip, and ID 3000 somehow sounds drunk and sober and introspective and high, and he's none of them when he's recording this, but he sounds perfectly on it. Like he's telling a story, and the way he's telling the story tells you the story. Just the tonation of his voice. Then there's Big Boy, who doesn't get as much credit for the wordsmith that he is. Because Big Boy is a wordsmith. I still check out Big Boy's shit sometimes. 2017, he had an album. Go check it out. There's bars on it. It's okay. The production is not great.
To be
but
honest, I actually knew who Big Boy was before I knew who Outkast was, because
Word.
he did like this one song called Shutterbug. Yeah, and I was like, what? Yeah.
Bobby played that song for me the
Yeah,
first time I
that
ever
song and I
heard
was
it.
like, oh, this is sick, you know. And I showed my sister, and they're like, you know who Outkast is, right? And I was like, what? And they showed
And
me
then
the
she
song that
blew your
everyone.
mind.
No, the one that everyone knows, you know, like Shake It Like a Polo.
Yes.
Shake it, shake it,
Shake
shake it.
it like a polo.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, hey, yeah. So like, I obviously knew that one from like the radio and class and shit.
That song is
and
a
they
banger
showed me
still,
like
though.
actual Outkast music, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
What's your favorite song on it, Sam?
Spodio Doublicious.
Yeah.
Very
Great
close,
song.
very close, Aquemini. And then skeeting on the what's that song called? Skeet on the I can't remember. And then there's Rosa Parks, which is an amazing
You know what I love?
song.
Chunky Fire.
Chunky. Oh, the thing is that the one with George Clinton on it?
I
George
don't know.
does the bass line of it. There's a
Maybe.
song. There's a song where George Clinton from the Funkadelics
Maybe.
does the bass line on that, and it's just amazing. I feel like if you have George Clinton on your album, it's just guaranteed a great. I don't think there's a bad album
he
that
on
George Clinton.
T-Pop?
He's on To Pimp a Butterfly.
There you go.
There you go.
Sassy.
Like George Clinton is hip hop and soul and electronic music and futuristic an Afrofuturism history. I love that man. And the man has a special place in my heart. But apart from that, let's get back to the topic. Aquemini is amazing. And the South has never sounded the same after that. And psychedelic music, in fact, I think Aquemini is one of the reasons that the South is associated with psychedelia. And it's associated with psychedelic luxury and like the drug life of it. And it's just brilliant. I was going to pick Biggie, Ready to Die. But then I just listened to Aquemini again. And there's, apart from one song where I will give a caveat, my pick comes with a caveat because there's a song where, and Aquemini fans will know this immediately I say this, the one he talks about lesbians. That song it's cringe. I can't remember what it's called, and it's the one where he's giving this girl advice to not don't let the lesbian trick you into having sex with her. And it comes out of nowhere, and it interrupts the whole flow of the whole album. And he's like giving her like weird advice on it, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. And this is the topic I wanted to segue into. A lot of the albums we picked, and a lot of the albums we would have chosen, because what is classic in hip hop is still rooted in the 90s, and the 90s were not a great time for progressivism.
Yeah.
How much does
Facts.
our current place, I don't want to say political climate, yuck, but our current ideas and point of views affect the way you listen to your music, to classics, and affect our rating of classics? Because there is that lesbian song on the Aquemini album.
The Low End Theory, right? There's a track called the infamous Date Rape. Basically, it's such a funny track. Like,
the thing is, I listened to that song, and the
it
thing
always
is,
comes out of nowhere.
I don't know. I don't know
I don't
what
get
they're
it.
trying to say.
Yeah, same.
Like, are you against it or for it?
No. I think
Same.
they're definitely against
I
it.
feel like they're really against it,
Yeah.
but sometimes
it's just-
they're
it
saying
hits-
some
it's-
stuff where I'm just like,
What's going
are
on?
you really against it?
Yeah.
Because like they'll just mention it and be like, you gotta go, and then they mention all these fucking artists like Daddy Kane is in effect, and I'm like, for what? What? That was kind of a messy
Like
song.
you said, like I've listened to the album for so long, but that song still just spins me.
Yeah.
Every time I hear it, it's just like, what?
Yeah, it's a strange one.
No, another classic album actually that I recently, basically, I went to my first concert December, and it was Lauryn Hill's concert. Yes. Yes, she did. She actually got there by 9 p.m. Like when me and my friends arrived. Like,
Yeah.
and we left when she finished her last song. Like,
Perfect timing.
the whole album. She did the whole album. And the thing is, like, listening to the album again is kind of sad because she did completely new renditions of the songs.
Right.
Like, when I say complete renditions, I didn't recognize half of them until she started singing the lyrics, and I was like, oh wow! I was like, this is the song.
Good, bad.
Amazing, phenomenal. Like, my favorite song.
Why would it be bad?
Hey, Lauryn Hill.
Oh, yeah,
She's doing some crazy
has
shit.
She has
I mean, I have
history.
like videos and stuff on my phone that I recorded before it died. But like, my favorite song that she's ever done is X Factor.
Yeah.
And so when she
And you
performed it
care for
live,
me.
I fully was like, I almost,
Did you love Drake's abuse of that song?
no.
How'd you feel about it?
No,
The thing is, when I heard it, I'm like, isn't this X Factor?
it is X
For the
Factor.
longest time. And then I showed my
Drake
brothers, and
really
they're like,
just
oh.
used that song, bro. He really just. I mean, I liked the song he came out with. The nice one was not a bad song, but
Which
he just
track is
stretched.
this?
Nice for what, Tiddy, nigga? And then, well, did you care for me, care for me, care
Yeah,
for
I
me?
don't hate
I
that
put my
track.
brother's
I-
X
I hate
Factor,
that
and they're
track.
like,
I didn't
oh,
either,
she's sampling
but-
Drake. And I was like,
It does abuse that sample. Like, it doesn't do
Yeah.
anything with it apart from speed it up. And it's like, oh, remember Lauryn Hill? I remember Lauryn Hill. Do you remember Lauryn Hill? I remember Lauryn Hill.
no,
That type
but
of
like,
stuff.
that show definitely, like, I was shocked. Like, and the thing is, she freestyled on stage a lot. Like, a
Yeah.
lot. I was fully like,
I
was
always
screaming,
forget
I was
how
like,
good of a rapper she is.
Yeah.
I always forget she can really
She
rap,
made
man.
the
Yeah, and
Fugees.
she's
Have you
also-
listened to the Fugees recently? The Fugees are not that great. I'm gonna be fucking real. I'm just gonna do some controversial
also,
shit.
She's really short in real life. I did not
Really?
expect that. She's
Really?
like 5'1". I was like,
Really?
whoa. When she came on stage, I was like, where's Lauryn Hill? And she took off the coat, and I was like, oh my god.
Damn, is that it?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, where's the rest of her? Lauryn Hill was the best part of the Fugees. If you listen to the Fugees again, the Fugees do not hold up. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, because the thing
Let's
they
be
have, there's this
blatantly
video,
honest.
Yeah, there's this one video of them like live in concert, and basically when Lauryn Hill, it was like one of the first concerts they've ever done, and so when Lauryn Hill came out, everybody just started ignoring her, and then Wycliffe, he just stopped the whole show, and he's like, she's what makes the group, so if you're not gonna listen to her, you might as well leave.
Facts. On a real, I don't know why you would listen to the Fugees and ignore Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
She's gonna be a Wyclef Jean spitting. Okay, I don't want to be that guy, but Wyclef Jean is a better producer than a rapper. Let's just put it like
Yeah,
that.
facts.
It is what it is. But yeah, Lauryn Hill made that group. She was the charisma overload. She still is. I'm glad she showed up to the
Have
performance.
you got another classic, Sam?
Yeah,
Let's
I could
talk
go
about-
for ages. I mean, we could talk about Ready to Die. want to bring up. Okay, let's talk about modern classics a bit.
Yeah, go on.
People use the word classics too much, and I wanted to end
Way
it
too
talking
much,
about
way too much.
Dirty Sprite 2. Does the term classic apply to that album?
No.
Okay, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. That I'm not
Don't
the
get it
only
twisted,
one that
and
thinks this.
I love that album.
Love, I
I
like
love that
it.
album.
I don't, but really love.
Yo, there's some great fucking songs. on that
Rich
album.
chicks. Yeah,
Bro,
rich chicks.
the Percocets triple joint.
Percocet Triple Joint is an amazing song. That song
You know
sounds
how
melancholic and turns
we were
at the
talking
same
about
time.
we were talking about how
I just
certain
did it
songs
to
just
the
sound like
Percocet.
drugs. That song
That
sounds
song
like
sounds
drugs.
like drugs.
That
Yeah,
song sounds like drugs.
yeah, a
But
little bit.
Great album, not a classic.
Yeah,
No,
why?
I just feel like to have that a classic album, yeah, like you just have to, you know how with certain classics they're synonymous with like a certain period. So like, okay, you remember when this album came out? Oh yeah, this
Like,
that was
the
happening.
context.
Yeah. I just feel like that album didn't strike hard enough, you know, because like a lot of albums came out that year, right? And it was a great album, but like I just don't feel like it like related to anything happening that year. Not to say that okay, to have a classic album you have to talk about this political issue that happened this year. It's just that like I don't feel like it hit hard enough, that album, to be called a classic. It was a great album, but I don't feel it hit that hard. You know?
Damn. Okay. Well, fair enough. The reason I don't think it's a classic is because one, there's too many duds on it for it to be a classic. I think there's a few duds on that album.
There are some classics that have duds though.
Like,
Let me
As
think.
many
Give me
as-
give me
Yeah,
one
many as
give me
shit.
1
Oh.
second. Give me 1 second. But
Take-
trust
I
me.
have one album.
go for it.
Queen Latifah's "All Hail the Queen." I mean, I don't know if.
Haven't heard
Yeah, it needs to have influenced as what as
Yeah, okay. To me, that's a classic to me because,
Okay.
because to be honest, right? Like, as a woman who loves hip hop and rap music, there's not a lot of women in hip hop and rap music, especially now when all of them are just shit.
Yeah.
So like,
Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? I can't just listen to Nicki and Cardi and be like, yeah, this is real rap. Like,
And No
I
Name
wish
as well.
Princess Nokia could come
Huh?
start rapping
And No
again.
Name as
no,
well.
yeah, but
throwing
No
that out
Name
there.
is like she's still like too small for her to be big. Like, you know,
Not
she
for
still
you to
uses-
listen to.
I listened to her. Room 25 was lit.
She's bigger
man.
than Queen Latifah was.
Okay. Oh, have you heard Song 31 by the way? Song 31.
The new song that she just
The Baba
released.
Felix.
Baba bonus.
No, I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, listen to that, it's
This-
good.
Like, I haven't been listening to new music at all. Like,
Go
I
on
said.
about the album though. Continue.
yeah. So like, basically, All Hail the Queen. To me, when I first listened to that album, I was like shook by how powerful she sounded throughout the whole thing. Like, not once did she give up the fact that she was both female and a rapper. She was like, this is who I am, and I'm gonna be delicate, but I'm also gonna be rough about it. Like, you know, you can't touch me. Like, she uses her she uses her femininity to the point where it's like she owns it. Like, you know, she doesn't feel like she has to sell it or she has to like.
Let everybody know.
Yeah, but she was just like, I'm a woman and I rap. If you don't like it, you can fuck off. Like, that was basically her whole vibe, and I was just like, powerful, love it. Cause like, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and stuff like that, I want to appreciate them like owning their own bodies and selling it for their own will, but they still look down on women who do that anyway. So I'm like, you can't really state you're doing one thing and just
Does
because you're
Cardi
making.
do that? Does Cardi B do that? I don't think Cardi do that.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think Cardi
think
B
she
is
does.
good on that actually.
No,
I
yeah,
think
'cause she was a stripper.
Yeah, she does it.
She be
It
She's
was
like
Nicki
shaking
a,
ass.
Minaj that was
Yeah,
like.
she really can't. She just can't be.
Yeah, and she-
Even
It
at
was
that
Nicki
video,
Minaj
there's
doing
that
that.
video of like her and the City Girls. Though like so many women twerking and stuff.
Yeah, can I get a link
Yeah.
on that?
Huh? Oh yeah, I got it.
modern day classics. I would bring up Atrocity Exhibition, but that's the
I
thing
think
about
it's too
Atrocity
early.
Exhibition.
I think it's too early to say that.
It
And I
really
don't, and I
is.
don't
About
think.
2016, it's
Trust
had to
me,
be.
Yes, yeah.
Danny Brown.
The influence.
Ask Eddie. Danny Brown is one of my favorite rappers of all time.
I can
yeah?
imagine. I can see
But
why. Atrocity Exhibition
however,
is a great album.
To me, it's a classic. Yeah, but I don't feel like
It doesn't
enough
have the
people heard it. Yeah, I don't think enough people heard
So
it.
wait, can something be okay? Then what is an underground classic?
Mad Villainy.
yeah, but enough
Kind
people
of.
have made Mad Villainy that I think it's kind
It's
of
not
mainstream
underground anymore. But
don't
I think it was a
is.
classic before. it was
Danny Brown
mainstream.
Triple X, you
Oh.
could say. I think
Really?
if anything is classic, Triple X is more of a classic than Atrocity Exhibition.
No, but what? Okay, then not a lot of people. I think fewer people have heard of Triple
more
X.
more
than
people heard
Atrocity.
Triple X. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
But not for it to be like
'Cause-
this
and
has
also-
influenced. Have you heard someone like, wow, I can see how Danny Brown influenced this person? Off of Triple X? Let's be real about because I brought out just Exhibition
The
kind of
thing
to
is,
ask you about.
Danny Brown was. I mean, Triple X was the album that got Danny Brown recognized because you know he's been in the game for time.
Yes,
Time.
yes, he has stories
then-
with like early
Yeah,
ASAP Mob.
and then that's when people started to take him seriously
Crazy
after that
shit.
album.
Yeah,
Like Rocky started to fuck with him, Q started to fuck with him all after that album. And boy, like that album was so good, man. It's so good. And like
with Dip, I Dip, you did.
yeah. Oh no, that's old. That's the one after.
Okay.
That's the one. It's the one with Monopoly. And
Okay.
I will. What she won't do. I mean, what he won't do, bitch, I will. He pretty much has a 4-minute song about eating pussy. And like,
man.
I promise you, that is the wordplay on it is insane. He really showcases the skill of like how good of a rapper he is.
Dan Brown's one of the most skilled rappers.
He's so
of
good at
this.
rapping.
Dan
honestly.
Brown will take a beat where there's nothing on the beat. The beat
body
is
it.
just like guitar licks. Like I told you about. I don't know if I told you, but it's not Dance in the Water. Although Dance in the Water is up there for me. Yeah, I think it is Dance in the Water. Yeah, Dance in the Water is one of my favorite like rap like flows. I don't know how he pulls that song off. There's nothing on that beat.
Is that
Dance
like
in the Water
same
and I'll
flow
get
the
wet.
whole-
No,
Even
because he writes this beat where the beat is nothing. The beat
you
is
can't
like,
catch it. Like
yeah,
you
there's-
can't.
if you listen to that beat and try and spit over it, you'll be like, where do I come in?
yeah,
I know what you're talking
and he
I'm
catches
going
it.
to, yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy,
ridiculous,
man.
and he always catches a pocket. Pneumonia, he does that shit too. But that's Pneumonia is a weird ass song, and like there's one I'm thinking of that I can't remember. He has a bunch of brilliant like, and this is all just at Trusty Exhibitions. I haven't even heard I need to hear the old
Oh
stuff. I need
please!
to
Oh,
check
you're
it
gonna
out.
love it. Please.
Yeah,
And
like,
it's
I
more
just-
classic.
Huh?
It's more classic. Than
Yeah, it's so good. I'll
So what
give
is
you
a
some-
what is a undisputed modern classic? Because
so
that word
my
so much that you think it will be-
Daniel's such a big fan of the show. Shout out to Daniel once again.
Yeah,
but
shout out.
Daniel, are you guys familiar with Death Grips?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know the Money Store.
You
I can
think
say
that's
that's a modern classic.
Yeah.
That's a modern classic, and I feel like a lot of people can agree on that.
The Money Store.
He
is
just
the Money
reminded me of
Store
that. Shout out to you, Daniel.
It's like somebody
Love
hitting
you.
your face against the concrete.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
that album.
man, honestly, so hard hitting,
Like it's
so hard hitting, so aggressive. I love it, man.
guillotine. No,
I
the
see
album is
footage.
insane.
Yeah, great album.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. Okay. So if we're talking underground, I want to put RTJ up there. I think RTJ1 is a classic, but that's because
I told you that's how I feel about them a couple weeks ago.
what?
Really?
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of
Oh.
RTJ. You're not a fan of Run the Jewels.
I like them, but I don't think they're that good.
Like, they're not
Really?
classic like that.
Yeah.
I think they are. I think they've made some amazing. That's the thing. They're fair enough. It's all personal. At what point does personal taste not count as a classic then?
Yeah.
Because on the underground community, I think they're very much appreciated.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know. They've never really done much for me.
Okay, fair enough. So who else can we bring up?
Modern?
Huh? Yeah.
Modern?
Modern.
There's
I
definitely
know.
one that I'm forgetting. Like a big one I'm just forgetting.
Tip of your tongue.
Yeah. It'll come to me.
What about
Oh, what about ASAP Rocky's like
Yeah.
breakup mixtape?
Huh?
Live Love ASAP.
Live Love ASAP?
Yeah.
That
I feel like that's
that's
considered
classic
like a.
elements. in it.
ASAP Rocky is actually one of the most talented artists of today.
You think that?
Well,
Yeah.
You know what?
I
I used to think
honestly-
I
that.
don't see that.
I used to think
I really don't see
No, his
that.
last album was not that good,
Testing.
but I feel like everybody.
Testing was a good album.
It's okay.
Testing was a good.
It was-
It was better than the last shit he did. What's the last thing he did before that? The last of the ASAP trilogy.
At long last, ASAP.
That
I
album
don't think
wasn't
he's on
amazing.
some classic shit.
No,
No,
neither
but
do
that
I.
first tape is
I
the
really
closest,
like
if anything.
There's elements of classic in that tape. There's like the
Yeah.
fact that like Rich Swag is very much a ASAP Rock. It's not ASAP. It's an ASAP Mob thing. It's the Yams. Like Yams was so progressive with that shit.
Oh, you know,
Like
Ooh.
futuristic, classy. Like
Ski Mask.
Nah, we're forgetting.
His flow, the way he flows is impeccable.
it is, but it's
I
not a
love it.
Not
classic
classic.
level.
Yeah.
It's not classic. No, his flow is on classic level.
I-
Like
yeah.
his lyrics are shit, but the way he uses it.
His flows. He has
has some
like he has
interesting
one
ass
of the
flows.
yeah
his
one of the best
flow
flows in the
just
game.
goes undeniable.
Oh, I almost
Like,
forgot this. I put it in Forest Hills Drive because screw everybody. I love that album and I think it is a classic album because of the influence it has, not just because I love it. Forest Hills
We're
Drive had a
forgetting a
lot of
huge one.
influence
You know?
in modern.
We're forgetting such a huge one.
Go on.
I think Forest Hills Drive was a huge one. I was forgetting.
Try
But you
and
can
guess
please
before I
find
say
one.
it.
Huh?
Try and guess before I say it.
You're gonna say Playboy Cardi's?
No.
No, okay.
That's
Playboy
disgusting,
Cardi.
but no.
Okay. Try and guess.
Is it Travis?
I want to say
Rodeo.
Nah.
No?
Astro World.
Nah.
No,
not
Astro was
classic.
not a classic.
I'll say it.
Yuck. Yeah, go.
Blonde.
Please. Oh.
How did we forget about Blonde?
Blonde is not a hip hop
Blonde
album.
is our hip hop
Oh,
album.
Blonde is
okay,
amazing.
okay.
Blonde is a classic. Absolutely. Yeah,
Frank
Blonde.
Ocean, like,
Yeah.
come on. We just brought it back in the hot.
I could
number two
honestly
hot
listen to
Billboard again.
Blonde because
been
I've
a
been
rough
testing
year,
this
but it's
theory for
okay.
3. I know, right? I've been testing this theory for 3 years since I heard this album. I could listen to Blonde every day for the rest of my life, like
Blonde's
till I
a great
die.
album, man.
I could listen to the whole album
Also,
every
do you know
day.
what? Do you know
I
what another
love that
test
album.
of a classic album is? You
What?
know how like okay, no matter how much you may love an artist or an album, yeah, you know, you're always gonna meet some person that doesn't like it, yeah. But
I've never met
If-
somebody who doesn't like it.
I have.
yeah, I have. Me
I've
too.
met like
I have.
However,
I
six.
haven't.
I feel like
I've met quite a lot.
I feel like on Blonde, there's at least one song that everybody likes. And
No, I have to disagree with
Really?
you there. I'm sorry, bro. I've met people that like
don't like a single song
get
of
this
Blonde.
shit.
It's
Well,
pink
no,
and white on
because they
Blonde.
didn't,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't give it
something
a
like that.
chance.
That's a great.
They
That's
didn't give it a
the song I was
What
thinking
song
about.
is it?
I feel like people love that song. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't not.
It's black and yellow.
Great.
Yeah, you can't not
That's the way
like that.
everything
Yeah,
is.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, how can you listen to that and be like, as like a human being that like
like this.
understands music?
That they actually you
Not
know
even
what?
understands, just
In
has
front of
an
Mad
ear.
Men from the UK, I
Yeah.
played some Frank Ocean at like 3 a.m. and they're like, "What is this shit, man?" I'm just like,
Come on.
"It's 5 a.m. I don't
Somebody
wanna
will
get
not like it.
tired, like,
I
I'm
want to
tired."
say Flower Boy potentially could be
Yeah.
a classic.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
know
like
about
it's
that.
soon, but I
I
feel
would
like
say Cherry
with
Bomb
time.
more than Flower Boy.
No, I feel like
Cherry
Flower
Bomb
Boy-
has production where people are going to be copying Cherry Bomb's production for a
A lot of
while.
people didn't like the
Flower
album.
Boy, in the way of the
Really?
Yeah, a lot of
classic,
people
is the
didn't like the album.
transformation.
I think it's a good album, but a lot of people
I
didn't
see
like
where
it.
you're coming from. Like the transformation from being so dark and like horrible.
Flower Boy is his best album, but I don't think it's a classic.
No, not a classic, but like the
think with time,
transformation is
maybe.
the classic part
Yeah.
itself. Because how can
we
we
just
go
keep-
from like talking about like, you know, sad shit
That's
like
true.
the world sucking and raping women, and then like all of a sudden it's like everything's flowers and sunshine and
And I'm
glitter.
also gay. Lol.
Yeah,
No, he's been
Okay.
saying he's gay for years, just nobody took him seriously because like
It's
it's Tyler the
crazy.
Creator. Like,
Wow, this was like
I didn't take him seriously.
explicit though.
Yeah.
No, I know, I didn't take him
I've been
seriously
kissing
the
white
whole
yeah,
time.
since 2004.
When I heard that, I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah, it's real now.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Can we
Also, I
add
was-
mixtapes in?
Yeah,
Because Section
What
80 is a
mix-
classic.
1999, Joey Badass.
999 is a
Yo.
classic. I agree.
Classic.
Okay, yeah.
999 has that flow, has that.
Oh, you know what? Joey Badass's best song is I Ain't Gonna
And I
Hold You.
won't stop till I reach Christ.
Well, he has a song called "I Ain't Gonna Hold You."
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even heard that.
No, me neither.
Is it Joey Badass?
You know, Joey Badass has like this early song with Chance the Rapper called Wendy and Becky, and I love that song. That song I can listen to forever. And it was before, I think, even before, it was before 1999. Great song.
Okay.
I don't know why I threw that in there, because we're rounding up and we're trying to find facts to round this up with. How
I
do we
feel
round
like we
this up?
should like
Should we make a
keep
point?
a list of all the song names, all these random songs we shout out, just so I can put them all together.
Yeah, like put them in the description or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. That'll be for next episode, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, we going to a break.
Are we going to a break? It's 12 o'clock.
It's 12.
now.
It's over.
Yo, I know. Time
Time
is
for
a
you,
beautiful-
right?
For real?
Time is a beautiful
What
thing.
the hell?
Time flies when you're having fun.
If you just saw my face at home, people at home,
made that like a dog.
that was the realest.
Have you guys seen that meme when the dog like it's like
Wait,
no
no.
for everyone that is at home? Have you not seen that meme where the dog like has this super surprised face? If you seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And I
That was
hope you're
Alex's
laughing.
face right
That
now.
was his face, bro.
Did we have a break?
Yeah, one.
One break.
But we
We did a
didn't.
whole hour. we
One
did a whole
break is
hour. Then we're like, let's take the
all
break.
And the pace of the show, this episode is a bit different because there's a few of us and we all have a lot
True,
of
true,
opinions.
true.
I don't mind that. I think we all
Yeah, I
have a lot of
fuck
shit
with that.
to
That was
say.
cool, man. That was all cool.
Super
Time
fun,
flew.
super
Fun
fun.
episode.
It
This is
was a-
probably
I
the
felt
funnest
like we
episode
were-
we've been on so far.
Like halfway
Well,
through.
damn. I appreciate that. We're getting better with time. Yeah. Yeah.
You're
So
definitely getting better with time.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, we're trying our best. We're out here doing our thing. I don't know. So classic albums. Why do we care?
Oh no, bro! I
Music
just
moves
time traveled.
everyone.
Because
That's
it's
the
more
thing.
than music, man. More than music.
Music moves everyone. There's no way.
No, but
like,
logistically, why do we care? Why do hip hop fans are? Why is we so like protective and like almost more than, or maybe
oh,
except
you know
rock
what?
music?
To be honest, it could just because like it could be because humans are just selfish and think, you know.
That's
and the
true.
thing, it's always gonna be a me versus them. It used to be all of us versus all of them, but now it's like me versus them, and then it's it's like a me versus.
Is this
me.
like the
Also,
old head
like it's-
thing?
Huh?
You talking about old heads just being like really?
Not old heads. Like
Protective.
Yeah.
everyone is being protective about who think like what they think is the best song ever, or, like the best album ever.
You know why I
like that.
think we care about classics so much in the hip hop community? I'm gonna call it the pitchfork effect. It's because that's why everything is a classic now, and it cannot just be a good album. It's like, yo, this shit is a classic. It's everybody wants to be the one that
that
saw it
was
coming.
first. Yeah,
That
I
saw
feel
it
you.
coming. Like I
feel you.
saw this was gonna change the game.
Actually, there's
because
only
the
one
game is
person who
important.
I only know one person who actually did that, and that was my cousin with Travis Scott. His first album came out, and he's like, "Watch, he's
I thought she was gonna
be
bring
big."
up. I thought she was gonna bring up some journalist or some shit. Like after the
No,
new
it was my
cousin.
cousin because I remember he was like, "Seema, you have to listen to this guy, Travis Scott."
Well,
And I
shout out
was
to
like, "Who the hell is Travis Scott?"
Shout out to Seema's cousin.
Yeah, it's on, man.
for
He
seeing
was
it.
like, he fully was like, "Nah, Travis Scott is the one you guys will see. Give it 5 years," and then 5 years time, Astroworld came out, and he was like, "I told you
I
guys."
told you.
He was like, "I told you guys, 5 years."
Mind
Yo.
blown. But yeah, we want to be the one that see it first, because like everybody now is both curator and audience, and we all want to be the one that's like the music genius guy. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. It's fine. It's also because like we're respecting hip hop more as an art form, and we're respecting it more as like an intellectual pursuit. It seems like, and a lot of that involves like who are the greats. Because we're falling into the same thing music academia has been doing for years, and
Yep.
people find it pretentious, and hip hop is becoming that, and it's gross and sick.
You kind of
Because it's
do
what
have to
killed
get a
rock
little
music
bit
a little
snobby. It's so just part of it growing into like an art, and now we have to be
Yeah,
like
exactly.
think
Yeah.
deeply about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I feel about it. I feel like I'm proud of the progress, but I'm also just like
It's a double-edged sword.
It's good. I like it because it gets people talking.
Yeah.
I like the fact that people will have different opinions, and it just gets people talking. And like you said, it's like people starting to realize that it's just more than like dudes rapping on a beat. Like this is some real.
it's
real
always
shit.
been more than but people are
I
really.
mean, we knew that, but like they didn't know that.
That's true.
So now people start to realize that. which
I guess the
I'm
only way
proud
to
of.
make a point is to be a complete asshole about it and be complete like we saw it first. I mean, it's not like we can try something new. Oh well, shout out to everybody
Yeah,
that listened to
Joey
the
Badass.
show.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to everybody. I hope you have a great
Badass.
weekend or a great whatever time you're having. People listening to it on YouTube.
The whole time
I hope you had
was
fun.
looking for that one song.
We're gonna play Prince,
Found it.
and then we're gonna play Curtis Mayfield, and then we're gonna leave you to your thoughts.
Bye.
Try not to drown inside them.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
see
yeah.
you.
Wait, which?
You're okay. Peace to every crease to your brain, my nigga. Bye. Bye. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's play Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield and eventually 1999 Prince. If you're on YouTube, you can use your imagination or just play the song
Or
yourself.
just Google that shit, boy.
You know what I mean?
It's the internet.
Either way, shout out to you. Peace.